A very good evening to you and welcome once again to Tollcross International Swimming Centre for Session 6, Day 2 finals of the Glasgow International Swim Meet. I'm Duncan McKinnell and I'm joined this evening in the commentary box by Scottish Swimming's national coach Ian Wright. Good evening, Ian.
Hi, good evening, Duncan. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I've had a fantastic day today. We've seen some superb swimming. Thought the women in particular this morning absolutely smashed it in the heats, and it's going to be very exciting, I think, some of these finals tonight.
Some good racing in prospect, that is for sure. A lot of the top swimmers of GB, and we've got the Danish team in and a few Swedish swimmers and Greek swimmers, so some really interesting races. And it's good to see, I thought, some of the juniors popping up and challenging some of the seniors as well this morning.
Yeah, so it's going to be an exciting night. We certainly saw a lot of meet records set last night in the finals. As I said, we had some more this morning in the heats. Here's what's coming up. We start off with the fastest heat of the women's 800 freestyle. After that, it's 400 individual medley, 200 freestyle, 100 breaststroke, 200 butterfly, and 50 backstroke, women, and followed by the men. The format, we have a junior final, we have a B final, and then the open final with the fastest 10 swimmers will go in that. And that will be the same, obviously, with the exception of the 800 freestyle. So looking through the program, Ian, what are you particularly looking forward to?
Well, in the women's 400 IM, you've got in lanes 4 and 5, Freya Colbert, Katie Shanahan, and both those girls will be swimming that event for Great Britain at the World Championships in a few weeks' time. So it'd be good to see with their form and whether they can challenge each other. They're great rivals, they're the same age, and we've seen them have lots of battles over the last few years. So that's a good one to start.
They had a terrific race in the British Championships, didn't they? And Freya just edging that one. Of course, it was the other way round in Birmingham last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Where Katie just pipped that bronze ahead of Freya.
That's right. So to some extent, you'd hope in both their minds you always want to win the race, but it doesn't really matter if one beats the other tonight. What really matters is what they do at the World Championships, when it's the big one. So, but this should be a good rehearsal and a good practice for them to try out different things or practice something that they're needing to work on.
Yeah, definitely. Then the men's event, Charlie Hutchison has looked good in the last couple of months.
Yeah, he's been coming back to form after a difficult couple of years where he was not that well. And I think they were, pretty much those boys were cruising the heats there this morning, and just interested to see how fast they can go tonight. Can they get under the 420? Might be a marker that he's looking for, although that is a tough one in an in-season swim. But he's definitely the favourite.
Yeah, and then the 100 breaststroke is one to look forward to. McSharry versus Hanlon.
That's a great race in prospect. Two, again, world-level swimmers now. Cara's right up there, the number one 100-metre breaststroker in Great Britain. Mona McSharry is the Irish champion. She's trained out in America for the last few years, really pulled herself up into the world rankings, and 106, 107 in the heats was already good. So
yeah, very fast.
We'll see what can happen tonight. That's a good race there for sure.
Yep.
Last night, Cara just beat Mona on the 50, which I thought was a little bit of a surprise. I expected Mona to take that one, but we'll see.
James Wilby up next in the men's 100 breaststroke. He looked very sharp in the 50 last night.
He was. Again, maybe a little faster than I thought it might go in the 50. He was out, and I've just been in America with him and a few other swimmers who were on altitude training. They just came back on Sunday, and they were all training well out there. So very interesting to see that he swam fast last night. I think the heat time this morning is a bit of a comfortable swim, so I'm sure he's wanting to go under the minute tonight. And off a 27.5 last night, that's certainly possible.
200 butterfly, that should be another good head-to-head. In fact, it could be a three-way head-to-head with the Laura Stevens, Kiana McInnes, Kira Schlossen, who's been in good form recently.
Yes, Laura, I put Laura as the favourite, but Kiara and Kiana definitely up there, and some other swimmers in that heat who I would expect to go a bit quicker than.
So we're ready to go with our first event. So without further ado, introduce the swimmers running through there on the screen for you. So in lane 9 is Georgia Dickey from Dumfries. 8 is Stella McCarty from City of Glasgow. Susie McNair of Stirling in 7. 6 is Amy Shields from City of Glasgow. We've got a Swedish swimmer, Esther Rydbeck Norden from Tavisim in lane 5. The fastest qualifier, Michaela Glenister of Stirling University in 4. Then Phoebe Arbuckle, a really promising youngster from Warrender in lane 3. Lauren Bradley Holt of Stirling University in 2. Tegan Black of East Lothian in 1. And Caris Mooney of City of Glasgow in lane 0. So fastest time from the afternoon heats, 9:36.31. That was India Marshall from East Lothian. That was a good swim from her, but we certainly expect these swimmers to be a good bit faster than that. Expecting a number of them, hopefully, to get close to the 9 minutes and possibly under it.
Yeah, I expect Michaela, she's really come into strong form again this year, and 8:42 at the trials earlier a few weeks ago, so maybe she won't go that quick tonight, but she'll certainly be expected to be under the 9 minutes.
So they're off and we're away on our day 2 finals. So went through the lineup. So Michaela in lane 4 in the black cap. As the swimmers swim away from the colour, you can see already she is edged into the lead from Lauren Bradley Holt, her Stirling University colleague. In lane 2 is off to a decent start, but really there's a line behind Michaela, but she's already a body length up right through the first 50. Almost well, in fact, there is a second differential between her and the next best, 30:36. So how would you expect Michaela to swim this?
Typically she likes, I don't mean she just always wants to swim from the front, because it's not always possible in every race, but she likes to be strong and put herself out there and then just maintain a pace. So I'm interested to see if she's going to try and do that tonight, or if she's going to try any different tactics, maybe try and bring back the second half of the race any quicker. But 1:02.99 is a decent start. You know, that's probably reasonably happy with that. 32.6 on that 50. I always think this 50 now, the third length of an 800 is really the one where you set your pace, the one you're kind of going to maintain. So I always look at the pace of this 50.
So you sort of settled into the race and you just got your rhythm and right.
Yeah, you can sometimes be a bit excited on the first length, or you're holding back a bit and then you move on the second length, but then by the third length you really want to have established your pace that you want to set it, keep going at for the next 200 or 300.
So 32.6 there, so that's pretty consistent.
So that's good. So if you don't get slower on the third length compared to the second length, I always think that's a really good sign that you're in good shape and that you're pacing it well already.
Is Michaela doing open water this year?
I've not heard that she is. I don't think so, is the honest answer, but I could be proved wrong.
So certainly she looked pretty good in that swim at Sheffield in the British Championships. And
yeah, I know she was really happy with her performance there. She'd had maybe a barren year or two, but she's really come back to form. Did some PBs. Really pleased with herself as how she gone. It shows it just sometimes takes a bit of time against you. Move from England up to Scotland, changed her program, started university, and sometimes it just takes a little time to settle into all that change and then go through the hard bit and then come out flying at the other end. And she's certainly done that this year.
Phoebe Arbuckle now has moved into second place. You can see in the red cap of Warrender turning in lane 3, 2:49.82. There at the 250.
Yeah, Phoebe's one of Scotland's more promising junior swimmers in this event. She's in the national junior team, and I think she'd probably say the 800 is her favoured event, although she does all the distances. And I'm pleased to see her pushing on in second place here.
So we'll keep an eye on her splits as well. It's a 33.3 there, so slightly reduced pace there for Michaela there, 3:14.91 at the 300. 3:24 for Phoebe in second.
And in the 800 for women or girls, getting under that 9 minutes is really a benchmark that people aim for as a measure of that. If you're under 9 minutes, then you're really, really good at this event. And I've certainly tried to lay out the challenge to some of the swimmers that we have and some of the coaches that let's target if we can get some of our female swimmers under the 9 minutes.
Do you think we're going to see? We've seen a bit of a drop off in the standards of distance swimming in Britain, both men and women, since the likes of Jazz Carlin retired. Are we going to see a renaissance, another group coming through?
I think there's a definite aim for that. There's a little bit of a national strategy around that, and finding the good distance swimmers that we have and trying to accelerate their progress. So I hope so. At the moment, it looks like there are particularly a few good junior girls who are coming up. There's one in particular from northwest of England called Emily Bloxage, who's doing really well at only age 14. And she could go on to do good things. The boys, I think, might take a little bit longer to develop, but there's a group of them who are working really hard. And there's now a group in Loughborough who are a training group of distance swimmers from different countries as well, who are doing really well. So that could pull things on a little bit.
So we'll watch that with interest. Certainly, it looks to me that Michaela is in sub 9-minute pacing here, coming up to 500 at this next turn.
Yeah, I think 4:21 was a split at the 400, and clearly, if she doubles that up, it's around 8:42. She probably won't double it up exactly, but you always try and be even. You're trying to do the 800 in an even split time. So she's holding not too bad, just a little bit slower than she was at the beginning, but still going well. And Phoebe pulling out a little bit more gap on third place as well.
Yeah, it's difficult when Michaela's got such a big lead to keep you at pace with what's going on behind her, but as we go through the turns, hopefully we'll see where the other swimmers are. As you can see, Michaela now has a big lead, coming up now to the 550 turn, and she goes through that just over the 6 minutes, 6:01, another 33 and a half. So let's see as we track Michaela down the pool. You can see there Phoebe going back the other direction. She's now got a lead of about 5-6 meters over Lauren Bradley Holt, and then looked like in fourth place was Susie. I'm not sure whether it's Amy Shields. I think
it's Susie McNair.
Susie McNair, you're right. Yes, in lane 7. Another promising youngster who's
Susie's doing well. One of our best 400 IM swimmers, and only 15, turning 16 this year. And just missed out on European Junior selection after a great swim at the trials last month, but one that we're looking at for the future in these distance events in the 400 IM.
So 200 to go, well, less than 200 now for Michaela. I think we're looking at something probably just a bit under 850 here. If she can keep this pace and maybe pick it up a bit at the back end.
Should be happy with that. It's not easy, she's obviously doing well in relative to the field, but it's not easy to keep pushing when you're this far ahead. You've got to be really kind of self-focused, and if you want to get the best time you can, you've got to dig deep and push yourself, because there isn't anyone around you to push you on for you.
Yeah, and it's concentration, isn't it? 8-9 minutes concentration at it all the time. You see there getting the keep those legs going from Coach
Brad. Yeah, Brad Hay, her coach at Stirling, has done really well with Michaela in the last year, and I think he's going to be happy with his performance.
So that was a 67 for a 100 for the 7th 100. So she can get down to, well, she'd have to get down to a 63 to make it 850. That might be a bit of an ask, but she's not going to be far away from that.
Let's see if she can try and increase the stroke rate a little bit in the final phase. That's what you're trying to do in the last 100 meters. Maybe try and bring the legs in a bit more.
33-1. I was talking with Scott earlier during the 800 in the afternoon as to when's the right time to really start the kick. And he was saying ideally from a 150 out, just to gradually build it out there.
Yeah,
so
I would say
agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. What you don't want to do is wait till the very last length and just do it then. You want to build up, if you can, like descend those last 3 lengths, last 350 meters, and try and get faster and faster and faster.
Easy for us to talk about it.
Absolutely.
She is, I think, going to get under the 850 though, so she'll be, I think, very happy with that. 8:48.37, very nicely done, and that is a new meet record there. So terrific stuff. Some 8 seconds faster than the meet record that was. Now let's see if I can get this right. Calliope Aruzu. I think it's a Greek swimmer.
Yeah, from I think 2019 perhaps when they were here.
So great stuff from Michaela. Didn't take long for us to get a new meet record.
And 9:15.32 from Phoebe for second place.
Yep,
I think is that just slightly outside her PB, just a few seconds maybe. And third place went to Lauren Bradley Holt in 9:19.12.
Yeah, so some good swims there, and actually very close to her, Susie McNair there, 9:19.39 for Susie, and that's right on her entry time, 9:19.
Yes. I think Susie will be quite pleased with that, actually. It's not always her best, I would say it's not her premier event, but it's one she likes to challenge herself on. So a good start.
Yep, just confirming that meet record and the full lineup there, full result I should say. Phoebe O'Buckle second, Lauren Bradley Holt in third. So next up we move to the men's 400 individual medley, and we have, as I said, a junior final, a B final, and then the open final. That's your lineup for the junior final, and they'll be making their way onto the pool side right now. Line up there, Marcus Blake, City of Glasgow in 0, Daniel Hendry of City of Glasgow in lane 1, Tyler Stewart of East Kilbride in 2, Fraser Donaldson of Mulgai and Bears End in 3, Cameron Gill of First in 4, Connor Aspinall of East Lothian in 5, Luke Scott of Dumfries in 6, Gregor Skinner of First in 7, Iniscow of Geary in 8, and Kyle Mossman of City of Glasgow goes in lane 9. Edge times here 5:08 up to 5:19. That's times from the heats, a mixture of morning and afternoon swims in this one.
Nice to see a few 14-year-olds making it through to the final in what is in the boys category. The junior at this meet is 17 and under, and the girls one is 16 and under. So if you're making it through as a 14-year-old, that means you've probably done a pretty good job in the heats.
Yep, so the 14-year-olds, Daniel Hendry in lane 1, Connor Aspinall in lane 5, and Kyle Mossman in lane 9. So we'll see how they get on this evening. So away they go. Good starts, well, from a number of swimmers.
We lost lane 3.
Yeah, looks like it. No lane 3. Fraser Donaldson is, for whatever reason, not present. There's 2 in the centre lanes, Cameron Gill of First and Connor Aspinall of East Lothian leading it out. Not much to choose between them. Cameron just getting the touch at the 50, and Tyler Stewart right there with them as well in lane 2. So they are the ones setting the early pace here. Of course, things can change a lot, particularly with these younger swimmers. I guess if you're at the top level, the likes of Charlie Hutchison or Katie Shanahan, then you've got to be strong across all the range of strokes. But at this level, probably you're going to have strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's those change as well over the course of time. And what might be a young person's strength now could become a weaker stroke later. And you particularly see on the butterfly, you might think your butterfly is quite bad early on, but then if you just stick at it, it can really, sometimes it's just a bit of strength and growth and maturity, and it really starts to flourish. So it's hard to follow it as a coach and a spectator as well, because sometimes you see things you don't quite expect.
I know you sort of take Duncan Scott for an example as an absolutely fantastic IM swimmer, and we saw him doing a really solid breaststroke yesterday. And you don't think of him as a breaststroker, but he's got it.
He's definitely got it. He actually swam the heats of the 100 this morning, the 100 breast, just as a personal challenge. I think. Yeah. I don't think he's doing the final of it, but no, that's why it's important to keep all your strokes going and training on all the strokes. race all the distances when you're young at 14, 15, 16. Don't neglect anything, because you never know what might start to come to the fore for you later on. And so you don't want to neglect it in training in those early years.
Interesting from Conor Aspinall there. He was strong out in the first 50, then he faded back quite a bit in the second 50 at the fly, but he's coming storming back in the backstroke there, so it's a really good backstroke leg from him. And he now has the lead, 2:27.79, so he is one of the 14-year-olds that you were talking about, Ian.
Yeah, one of the strong East Lothian squad that are doing very well at the moment. He looks like he's even widening in his lead on the breaststroke here.
Although he's got that little issue of lane 2, Tyler Stewart, I think, is maybe coming at him a bit. The East Kilbride 16-year-old. So he's in the white cap there towards the top of your screen. But it is still Conor in the black cap, lane 5. He's going to turn, about a body length up. Halfway through the breaststroke, 3:12.02, so 44.2. You can see Tyler is a bit faster, 43.6 on the first 50 of his breaststroke.
And also Marcus Blake on lane 0 and Innes Gow in lane 8 are also going quite well in the breaststroke here.
So lovely close shots of the two in the centre lanes there. Conor in the black cap there.
This is where from 250, I think it's really starting to hurt. Usually in the 400 IM, you've got to really concentrate between 250 and 350. The breaststroke being the slower of the 4 strokes, you really can't switch your mind off and wait till the end. You've got to focus here and push.
So Tyler Stewart has moved past Conor in the second half of the breaststroke. You see quite a difference there in their times for that second 50 of the breaststroke. So 3:56.23, but we know Conor is a very strong freestyler, so he could come roaring back here. Over on the far side, top of your screen, Marcus Blake, you mentioned, going nicely.
Yeah, he's moved into 3rd place. That's and he's a decent freestyler as well, so he may be able to hold on to that. I'm not sure how strong Cameron Gill is, who's in lane 4, he was the fastest qualifier. Conor has moved well ahead now after that Tyler's good breaststroke.
Look at that, 33.7 against 37.7 for Tyler. So yeah. Tyler clearly has sort of burnt his boats, I think, in the breaststroke.
Yeah. Yes, it looks like he's run out of steam a little bit, but he's still hanging in 2nd place. It's whether he can be others are trying to chase him down. Definitely Conor who's going to win it, though. Yeah,
this is a cracking swim from Conor. So he did a 5:09 in the heats. He came into this on a 5:05. He's going to be much closer to that 5:05. In fact, he's inside it. 5:04.82. So good stuff from him. That 5:05 he did in Aberdeen at Snags. So he takes a second off that. Tyler Stewart did hold on to second by 4/10 in the end. 5:08.63 from that fast finishing Cameron Gill. You see, he had the fastest last 50 of all of them, but it wasn't enough to get him better than 3rd place. And there is confirmation of the results. So Conor Aspinall taking the junior final from Tyler Stewart and Cameron Gill. The B finalists coming up to the blocks now. The lineup for this: Jack Doxty Simpson goes for Scotia in lane 0. Tom Armitage of Highland in 1. Lewis Gibson of South Ayrshire in 2. Logan van der Merlen of Stirling in 3. James Burnett of Warrender in 4. Thomas Traynor of East Kilbride in 5. Kai Connolly, City of Glasgow in 6. Ewan Weir of Dundee City Aquatics in 7. James Boddy of Geary in 8. And Hayden Sterling from Arbroath St Thomas in lane 9. And looking at the lineup here, all of these swimmers are also juniors, so it's good strength for the juniors to be completely dominating this B final.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. I hadn't picked that up until just now. 17, 15, 16 through to 17, all of them in this B final.
James Burnett, the fastest, 4:53 in the heats.
Yeah, James is one of the Warrender swimmers, and this is his favourite event. I think his target event is for James, so we'll see how he goes.
So he won national age groups in the 4:45, so that will be his target, I think, to get there or thereabouts.
Yeah, he'll be looking to see if he can get close to that.
So he goes in lane 4 in the red cap of Borenda. So you can see him there towards the right-hand side of your screen, and he's off to a strong start. I think he's going to lead them up to the first turn. Also going well in lane 6 is Kai Connolly, another 16-year-old from City of Glasgow. In fact, Ewan Weir in, well, look at that. Kai Connolly, Ewan Weir, James Burnett. I think there might be something wrong with the touch on James there, because he certainly looks to have the advantage coming down this second length.
It might have been his feet that stopped the pad there rather than his hands.
Yeah, I suspect that was what happened.
You have to really give the pad a good stab with your hands sometimes to make it register the split or the finish. Always try and teach the swimmers that. Never do a soft finish.
Yeah, particularly in the finish, you don't want to lose any advantage there. So it is James Burnett now showing 103.78, and that split 33.8 probably exaggerated by what happened at the 15. But he certainly set himself up nicely here in the butterfly, and see what he can do in the backstroke.
Yeah, he's going pretty well. It's quite close between lanes 5, 6 and 7 for the second place at the moment.
Yeah, Thomas Trainer, Kai Connolly, Ewan Weir. So East Kilbride, City of Glasgow, Dundee, City Aquatics, and looks like it's Kai Connolly just in second place, but he's now over 3 seconds back on James. So James Burnett, member of the Youth Academy. So what are you emphasising in the Youth Academy squad? What were you trying to achieve with the swimmers in that squad?
Well, the Youth Academy squad is a nationally delivered squad, but it's broken into 4 groups geographically, 1 in Aberdeen, 1 in Stirling, 1 in Glasgow, 1 in Edinburgh. And we have about 20 swimmers in each one of those. They get 4 training days over the course of the year with educational content around those as well. And what we've done with them this year is to try and, well, we had a real technical focus this season, but going like into quite detail within those days, getting cameras out, filming them, looking at underwater kicking speeds, looking at stroke techniques, again using the cameras, letting the swimmers see what they do, having coach feedback to them about areas they could improve on the pool side in real time. And hopefully that went quite well. And it's something that they can't always access in their own club that easily, but we were able to do it in those kind of training days. So we appointed a coach to lead each of those 4 programs, and I give a broad content prescription, but then I let the coach put their flair on it on the day.
So it certainly seems to be producing some good results, seeing good progression from the swimmers in the Youth Academy this year, and certainly James is one of them.
Yes, I think he's hoping that he'll swim fast enough this season to move to the next squad up, which we call our national junior team. Now he's turned at 3:38. That to me would put him in a great chance of going 4:45.
Yeah,
but I think freestyle is probably his weaker stroke, although he does look to be still going quite strong there. Getting cheered on well by his coaching team.
So it's certainly looking good for him to take the win here. Second place, Ewan Weir, Dundee City Aquatics, certainly has now a bit of breathing room over Thomas Trainer and Kai Connolly, who are battling out for third. So final turn, that was a 34 split, so that would be, what, a 4:47 roughly. So if you can pick that down to a 32 on this last length.
Well, this is a good swim from Ewan Weir as well in lane 7.
15-year-old from Dundee did a 5:02. Entered on 4:52, so let's see whether he can get close to 4:52 here. Also a national age group champion in his age group, but here comes James. He takes the win, very close to that 4:45, 4:46.38. 4:51.47 for Ewan, so that is an improvement on the time he came into this meeting. Another Youth Academy member based in Dundee.
I think he trains most of the time at Strathallan School, and then swims for his home club Dundee in competitions.
Thomas Traynor in third, 4:54.71 in the end. Had too much for Kai Connolly down that last length, so see the 2-second differential, and that was pretty much the difference between them in the end. So he takes third in the B final, behind James Burnett and Ewan Weir. So we come to our first A final of the evening. The swimmers will come out one by one and be presented to the audience here at Tollcross. There they are, ready to go. And they're coming up for lane 9, looking very serious. Brodie Gordon-Gibson of Warrender. Then in lane 8, it's Harper Whitehead from the University of Stirling, 22-year-old. The Dane, Christian Thorhaug, goes into lane 7, 18-year-old from Denmark. In lane 6, looking pretty cheerful, Angus Allison from the University of Stirling. His teammate George Smith beside him, the breaststroke specialist. There's Charlie Hutchison, the fastest qualifier. Goes into lane 4. The Irishman Jack Cassin into lane 3, 19-year-old. In lane 2, Pierce Greening, another from Stirling University. Tom Robinson from University of Aberdeen. And a very cheerful Robert Burgess completes the field in lane 0 for City of Glasgow. So that's your lineup. 4:30 was the fastest time in the heats this morning. Charlie Hutchison just a second or so ahead of George Smith. Watch out for George in the breaststroke section in particular. But Charlie, you would think, will have that all-round ability to get this one done. Is that your prediction? That would be mine.
I think so, but George is on the up. He's moved up here to Stirling University this year and has made a good start to that process. And at some point I see him making a breakthrough in this event as well. He's not, as you say, known for his breaststroke, but definitely a good IM swimmer and a good freestyle swimmer.
Bronze medalist at Bucks in February, so you have to be pretty good to get a medal at Bucks.
I'd expect to see Angus Allison make a bit of a challenge as well.
So it's very strong Stirling presence, but Charlie, of course, based in Loughborough, and Jack Cassin, the Irishman, could be in the mix as well.
Yeah, Jack Cassin has been swimming well this season. I'm not sure what his personal best time is, but I know he's been making waves in the Irish competitions.
Yeah, Irish champion, did a 4:22 at the Irish Championships in Dublin in April,
which is a pretty good swim. And out in 27s is a decent start. It's about what you're looking for down the first 50.
So look at that, 27.61, 27.62s for two swimmers, all just behind Charlie's 27 low.
Charlie very good at the butterfly, very good at the backstroke. So we might see him taking out the lead. Brodie Gordon-Gibson at the bottom is a good butterfly swimmer, but I don't be surprised if he hangs on to that kind of position and through the other strokes.
So two swimmers under the minute at the end of the butterfly, Charlie and Jack, 58.7 and 59.9. And certainly as soon as he gets onto the back, Charlie looking so comfortable and just starting to move away further from the competition. George Smith will maybe be feeling, if he can stay in that mix in round second, third, fourth place, by the time they get to the 200, then he might not be too far away after the breaststroke.
Yes, he'll always come with a chance on the breaststroke, and he knows his freestyle is also very strong. So I'd expect to see a good back end of the swim for him.
Christian Thorhaug going nicely in lane 7 in the white cap there, the Dane. He was 5th in the Danish Open in April. It's great to have the Danish team here. They've been loyal to this meet for a while now.
Yeah, they've been here every year. They bring their European junior team that they're going to take to the championships. They bring them here for practice, and it seems to suit them very well.
I guess it's great just to get the team together on an international meet as well. It must be really. I think maybe Britain should do that.
Well, there are times where it does happen. You know, they've sent people out to the Ontario meet in Canada in December. The World Champs team will prepare by going to the Seti Collie meet. in June, which indeed I'm taking a group of Scottish swimmers to as well.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that meet, and I was thinking, well, what is there between now and the World Championships? And of course, there is that meet in Rome. So here we are into the breaststroke now. So we're seeing George now pulled away from the pack behind him, but he's still about, what, 3-4 meters behind Charlie.
And this is where you see Angus make a good move as well. He's a 36.2 for his first length of breaststroke, and he's a strong breaststroker.
Yeah, so as we focus on Charlie, and then you can see George there. He is making ground, and that is in lane 6, Angus Allison, who's moved into 3rd place, ahead of Jack Cassin and Christian Thorhaug. But at the 300, Charlie's lead is a lot less than it was, but he's still got the lead by nearly a second and a half, 3:22.73 against 3:24.17 for George. So let's see how strong that George Smith freestyle is. Can he continue the challenge? It looks like he can at the moment. He's definitely closing on Charlie. And just Charlie playing with him, do you think? And he would push on in the last, or?
I think Charlie's tired here. He's going to have to find something on the last 50 to hang on to this. Like I said, George is a great freestyler. A very good 400 freestyle PB on him. Quite odd for being a breaststroker as well, that you don't see that very often.
Great turn there from George as well. He picked up about a meter on Charlie in that turn. So Charlie's really got to dig deep now if he's got to come back from this, because it's George Smith. Well, I was putting my money on Charlie. I think I'd be losing my money, because it's George Smith who has dominated here, really came back in the breaststroke and really strong freestyle. Well, you did tell us, Ian, that he was a strong freestyler. He demonstrated that now. There, 4:24 on the nail for George. Charlie 4:25.59. George Smith there, 4:26 he came into this meet on. So to do a 4:24 in the middle of hard training, I'm sure. You see he's puffing and blowing a bit. But, great stuff there.
Yeah, that was a good swim for him for sure. Talented boy. I don't know if the 400M is on his program this summer, but if he can do that here, and then if he was tapering for this, whatever his peak competition is this summer, it was to also swim 400 IM at it, then I would expect him to be able to drop that down again.
So cracking stuff there. So just confirming the 1, 2, 3 there. George Smith taking the win. Charlie Hutchison was second, and Jack Cassin, the Irishman, taking 3rd. Over to the women now, starting with the junior final. And the lineup here in lane 0 from City of Glasgow is Amy Rowell. Kira Gregg goes for Fauldhouse in lane 1. Thea Glenn of City of Glasgow in 2. Ellen Denny of Geary in 3. Abigail Crawford, City of Glasgow in 4. Macy Carty of Fauldhouse in 5. Then 3 more City of Glasgow swimmers. Ella Cunningham in 6. Daisy Gilday in 7. Abby McMillan in 8. And Ellen McPhee is a 3rd Fauldhouse swimmer in this junior final. She goes in lane 9. So we talked about 14-year-olds for the boys. We've got a couple of 13-year-olds in this junior final, both from City of Glasgow. Amy Rowell in 0 and Daisy Gilday in 7.
Yeah, very good to see that.
So we'll see how they get on. Fastest was Abigail Crawford, 5:32.48. That was about 3 seconds faster than anybody else in the heats. Mixture of morning and afternoon heats make their way into this final. Is there a difference in terms of prepping from the morning to the evening versus from the afternoon to the evening, particularly on a 400?
Yes, in essence, yes. If you've done it in the morning and you've made it through and you weren't racing in the afternoon in another event, then it obviously gives you a much better chance to get an afternoon rest and recover and get your energy stores topped up again. But if you've done it in the afternoon, you know, again, it depends on your maybe the rest of the schedule during the day and what your particular circumstances are. But even so, in general, whichever way around you do it, 2 400s in a day is a hard task, and you always want to be trying to get through to the final with maybe a little less effort than you want to go in the final. You know, you want to trying to save a bit if you can, because you know 2 400s in a day is extremely tough.
With the younger swimmers, of course, are more likely to be in that position. Are they more resilient and able to recover quicker than the older swimmers?
Again, yes, in theory they should. You know, you should see 13, 14-year-olds bouncing back pretty easily from ranger swims. As long as they do the right thing between them, they still should swim down, eat and drink properly through the day. And then if they do that and look after themselves, then you would expect them to be able to bounce from one swim to the next, if they've also done enough training.
Yeah.
You know, they still need to be fit to do that. But as you get older, for sure, that becomes a harder test. And of course, as you move up the performance ladder, the further up that you go, the harder it is to squeeze out those hundredths and tenths of seconds that you need. So you want to be at your very, very best when you do that.
So Ellen Denny at the 150 has a lead of about a second and a quarter. Well, there's signs maybe that is being eaten into now, coming down towards halfway.
Well, this is an interesting race. These girls are, you know, they're all good age group swimmers in Scotland. None of them are established or recognised 400 IM swimmers. It's great to see them in this final. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see people moving forward from the heat swim, or others maybe a little bit slower than the heat swim. So it's quite a range of swimmers and experiences here. So they've got to get their strategy right as well, and determination. And you know, Abigail Crawford is going well, trying to challenge Ellen Denny. Abigail from Glasgow is someone who's got a bit of a reputation for being a hard-working swimmer, and she likes to challenge.
Yeah, so she is looking as if she's going to challenge in the breaststroke now. Also making a move in lane 5 is Macy Carty, the Fauldhouse swimmer. She's battling for third with Thea Glenn in lane 2. See if they can, either of them can come up and challenge the front runners, Ellen and Abigail. You see them both coming up to the wall there. And it is still the Geary swimmer, following in the footpaths of Hannah Miley. 3:25.99, leads by a second. Look at that, the split's almost the same down that first 50 breaststroke between Ellen and Abigail. So is that going to stay the same in the second half? Sometimes things can change a lot in the second half of the breaststroke in the 400 IM. But doesn't seem to be happening here. Macy Carty has got well clear of Thea Glenn now, but not really making too much ground on the two ahead of her.
Yeah, Thea Glenn's having a good race here. I'm sure she'll be pretty happy with her performance so far. They're well clear. These four are well clear of the rest of the field. And it's all down to the freestyle. Like I said, you've got to concentrate really hard here, push through the pain and focus and be determined and see what you can do, because it's hurting at this point.
So Ellen Denny is certainly pushing it on very well here. She was finalist in North in national age groups. Didn't particularly star in that one. Well done there. Order, silver medalist at North District age groups, where she did her entry time that she'll be trying to emulate 5:32. She's got every chance of getting inside that.
Yeah, I would expect so. Swimming for the Geary Club, which you know, the one that Hannah Miley used to swim for a few years ago, but they're really setting their stall out as a hard-working distance program. They like to enter the long events and the short events, but you can tell they're putting the work into training, and they're getting some results from that.
Yeah, and Ellen is a great example of that. She's got this sewn up now. The race is on for second because Macy Carty has had a really good push. Well, no, she's in fact still fairly well behind Abigail Crawford, but it's Ellen Denny takes the win, 5:26.23. So I think she'll be highly delighted with that. That's 6 seconds faster than the time she came in on. Abigail 5:30.25. So a nice swim from her. She came from the afternoon heat, so good progression there. And Thea Glenn just touching out Macy Carty. That was the race I was thinking of. Getting in my head, it was for second, but of course it was for third. And it was Thea just edging it.
Yeah, Thea knocking off, 9 seconds from her heat swim, I think?
Yep, she came in on 5:43 in the heat swim, so 5:43 to 5:34. Nicely done. So that was the junior final. Move on to the B final now. And here they come. Lane 0, Tegan Black. She just was in that 800, so this is a tough double. Caris Mooney as well, City of Glasgow, the same thing for her. Lexi McCappin goes for first in lane 2. Ida Fredriksson goes for Denmark in 3. Evie Mackey in lane 4 for Lanark. And 2 more East Lothian swimmers, Zara Kravis in 5, India Marshall in 6. 2 from City of Glasgow, Alice Cumming in 7, Heidi Wren in 8. And Kirsty Gilmore goes in 9 for Hamilton Baths. Evie Mackey, another youngster. Well, Evie and Zara side by side in the centre lane, both 14-year-olds. Both very promising members of the Youth Academy that we were talking about earlier.
Indeed, yeah, 2 of the top 14-year-old female swimmers in Scotland, really.
So I could tell you that it was Evie Mackey that won this event in National Age Groups, but I don't think Zara swam it. I think
Zara did a really good one at the British Championships the week before the Scottish Age. She was 5:07 there, or 5:09, I want to say. One of those, I think I want to say. She had a really good last 50. I remember watching her swim it. She actually went faster on her last 50 in the heats in Sheffield than Katie Shanahan and Freya Colbert did. She beat the whole field, you know, from like heat 2 in the last 50 of the race. She found this amazing burst of energy, and it was really fantastic to see.
So we'll see how she does here. She's at the moment lagging behind in lane 5 from some of the others. Heidi Wren just with the edge in lane 8, so she's off to a good start. Evie Mackey second, Alice Cumming third.
Yeah, I think Zara might either she'll want to maybe just cruise through this fly without too much energy, or it is one of her weaker strokes. I know she's good at the breaststroke and the freestyle. But Heidi is known for her butterfly, so I'd expect to see her good going out here. She's also a good backstroker, so Heidi might be able to maintain this, but it's not really her distance, 400.
So it's all pretty tight at the 100 turn. Evie Mackey, in fact, just edging it. Gets the touch in 1:10.89 from Ida Fredriksson of Denmark, another youngster, 15-year-old. So the future of Danish swimming. Was 6th in the Danish Open and did her time 5:13 there. So she's looking pretty good there in lane 3. She's looking very solid backstroke.
Yeah, nice rhythm on her backstroke.
Heidi Wren still up there and Evie Mackey. So we come halfway through the backstroke. You see Ida turning with a decent lead now. Heidi, Evie, much for muchness, just 3/10 apart. Heidi's still picking up a good pace there, 39.6 there, but 38.7 for Ida. These three opening up the gap.
Really pulling away here, the Danish swimmer.
So we'll see whether she has it across the 4 strokes.
I mean, that's a big gap from there to Zara Kravic now. That's over 10 meters. There's a nice technique there you can see from that camera angle. Good turn as well, doing the crossover turn. Didn't do the breaststroke pull out. Sometimes you see that in the medley, just people trying to get their energy and keep their breath in quickly, but we would always recommend the breaststroke pull out off the wall. Evie Mackey starting to challenge again now.
Yeah, it does look like she's got into a rhythm on the breaststroke and is starting to eat away at the Ida lead. And I don't think it's going to last too much longer. I wonder if anybody else can make a move up, but certainly Evie is the one who is making the big push. Evie Mackey, the said 14-year-old from Lanark, coming into this meet on 5:12 she did in Aberdeen.
Alice Cumming is just trying to make a little bit of a move from lane 7, catching up Heidi Wren. Zara's creeping back into it a little bit, but still a long way off the leaders.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's Zara's day today, maybe into very hard training. But it does look like Evie Mackey's day. She has really got a determined look about her, hasn't she? She's really energetic stroke.
Yeah, she's a great swimmer, very attentive to what she does, trains out of the Lanark Club. And pulling up to about 4 meters clear now.
So 100 to go. And it's Evie Mackey now, 3:58.87.
Well, it certainly gives her a chance of sub 5:10. And she doesn't look like she's lost any energy in the freestyle. She's storming off down that first length of freestyle. Karen Kelly, her coach, waving her on there.
Yeah, she'll be pretty happy with what she's seeing, I would think. Third place in lane 7 there. Alice Cumming now has gone past Heidi Wren, and then you can see up the top of the screen in lane 2, that's Lexi McCappin. But, well, Evie Mackey has got this absolutely sewn up. See there, 34 there. So
5:07 here, perhaps.
Yeah, this is very good from Evie. So 5:12 she did in Aberdeen. She's going to be well inside that.
Nice rhythm on the freestyle there. Look at that. It's great to see.
What can you tell from that head-on strokes in terms of what you're seeing there in terms of her freestyle?
There's just a nice balance to it. You know, she's breathing every 2 to the left, but doing it in a nice balanced and rhythmical way, moving both arms in a fluent way at a fairly high stroke rate, but also using her legs. You can see she's really happy with the result there.
5:08.43, so she should be. Ida Fredrickson in the end had to struggle a bit to hold on to second, but she did. 5:17.91 for her. Alex Cumming was coming hard at her at the end there, but she has to settle for third in the end in the 5:18. 5:18.49.
PB for Alice. I'm sure she'll be very happy with that. I think that's probably her first time under the 5:20 mark.
Yep, good for her. So on now to our second A final. There they are, all lined up, waiting for the signal to move onto the poolside. We'll be bringing them on, lane 9 through to lane 0. So there you can see Sophie Main, the front of the queue, and here she comes. Oh, no, not quite. Now she comes, Sophie Main, representing Edinburgh University. In lane 8, it's Ophelia Nordecker from Denmark. In lane 7, Mari Craig from Edinburgh University. In lane 6, Elsa McDonald of Edinburgh University. In lane 5, it's Katie Shanahan from University of Stirling. In lane 4, Freya Colbert from Loughborough Performance Centre. In lane 3, Swim Ireland's Grace Davison. In lane 2, Susie McNair from Stirling Swimming. Caroline Kilstrup next up goes into lane 1 for Denmark. And lane 0, Lula Gao from Geary. We were commenting on Lula. I think she pretty much swam every event this morning.
Oh, really?
So see how she gets on in this 400 medley. But Freya Colbert and Katie Shannon, you would think, will be battling this one out in the centre lanes. Grace Davison is a very promising Irish swimmer as well,
yeah,
16-year-old.
One of their top junior Irish swimmers, and good at this event, good at the distance, good at the freestyle. But we're seeing 2 of the world's top 10 in the 400 medley this year. Right here in Katie at 4:36 and Freya at 4:35 from the trials a few weeks ago. They're going, as we were talking earlier, heading towards the World Championships, and both would be looking to make the final at the World Championships and then seeing what they can do from there.
So there's a 2 per nation rule on the events in the World Championship, is it?
It is, yes.
Yep, so there'll be the 2 for Britain.
You have to to get 2 in the race, you have to meet a certain time standard, which I think was around the 4:36, 4:37 area.
So let's see how they go tonight in Glasgow.
I mean, I don't expect them to be as fast tonight as they were at the championships, but you know, you want to get as close to it as you can, and race the race properly.
For senior athletes like Katie and Freya, what sort of drop-off would you expect in this sort of distance between unrested and rested?
Well, I think it's a little sometimes different for the women compared to the men. On the men's side, you see anything 10 seconds and upwards sometimes, you know. The girls maybe a bit closer than that. Also the context of both of these girls just come out, again, we were talking about the altitude training. They both came back last Sunday from 3 weeks at altitude training in Arizona, where they both did some, quite high mileage. So you're looking at how has that affected them, because sometimes you can come back from altitude and be a bit under the weather in terms of your performance, but sometimes you can come back and get a sudden boost from it. So just depends where they are in their kind of recovery and training cycle. That's a strong first 100 from Katie, though.
Yep, up by over a second, 1.3. After that, the butterfly for Colbert in second. And then a race for third between Grace Davison in the green cap in lane 3 and Ailsa McDonald and University in lane 6. And then you see the close-up of Katie, of course, a peerless backstroker.
It's not, I mean, they'd love to get under 440 here, but it's not easily done in season swims for females. 441, 442 is kind of sometimes where you see the females at. Everyone's a little bit different, but Freya was 446 in the heats. Katie, I think, cruised it a little bit easier than that this morning. Had 2 swims, had the 200 freestyle as well to do this morning, and Katie's probably quite happy with the lead she's got on Freya right here. Sometimes you see Freya come back at Katie a little bit on the breaststroke, but this has been a good backstroke split from Katie.
And they're both excellent backstrokers, aren't they? They were right up there battling each other in the backstroke as well yesterday.
Yeah, and 34.8 compared to Freya's 36. So it's a little bit surprised on that from Freya, because she swam well in the backstroke yesterday, so I don't know if she's just feeling a little tired from that, but you don't normally see Katie this far ahead at this point in the race.
And the interesting, because they've both been on that altitude camp, they're probably in fairly similar places in terms of where they are training, with the density of training that they're doing and the like. So it's probably a pretty fair competition in terms of where they're at.
Katie did the highest amount of meters she's ever done in a week out there, so over 64 kilometers in a week. And Freya was slightly higher than that, around 70 kilometers in the week, but which is a lot, and it can affect you in different ways, as I say. So, but this is a good swim here from Katie. I think she might be excited by the fact that she's heading off to see Harry Styles tonight. She might be trying to get the race done quicker so she can get away, but
every second counts. So here she comes.
This is really good. 3:33 at that point. That's the same split she turned out in the final of the Commonwealth Games with 100 to go, where she struggled a bit on the freestyle then, but she was 3:32 at the British Champs at the 300 mark. So this is really good from Katie, really good.
Yeah, we thought this was going to be a tight contest, but Katie has proved us completely wrong there, and she has completely dominated, really, right from the off in the butterflies. So final turn from her, 4:06.57, so a 32 high there. So, well, this is going to be under 440, you would think. So
yeah, maybe come back in the 31. Could be, I think 4:38. Perhaps she'll be really pleased with that. It's PB 36. She might have an eye on some of the prize money as well for the top FINA points for the meet. I think there's a £500 prize for that. So this could be one of the contending swims.
Hannah Miley's meet record 4:40.28, so I think that's going to be gone. Yes, it is 4:39.38. So brilliant stuff there. Very nice swim from Katie. So a new meet record. So the women continuing to smash it up, these meet records. Colbert 4:44.99. How will she feel about that one?
I think she'll have been hoping for a bit quicker, or certainly to be a bit closer to Katie after that swim. Her 4:46 this morning was, well, I've no way of knowing how hard it was for her, but I think she would have hoped to be a little bit quicker than that.
You can see there's Katie puffing a bit there, but well, not surprisingly, it was an excellent swim. And that was a good swim for Grace Davison as well. A 4:55 from her, came in on a 4:52, so again pretty close to that. And Susie McNair getting under the 5 minutes as well. So she did a 4:54 down in Sheffield, so again within a few seconds of that.
Yeah, a nice job from Susie there. Having said, especially after she's already done an 800 tonight, not that long ago.
Yeah.
Shows her she's a tough swimmer.
Yeah, so we were talking about that resilience of the young, and she's demonstrated it very well there. So we now go to 100 breaststroke and the junior final for the men. We have Johnny Martin of Perth City in 0. James Burnett back in the pool in lane 1 for Warrender. Fraser Dow of Perth City in lane 2. Eric Risland of Tabby Swim in lane 3. Connor Mitchell of Warrender in 4. Royas Kringellis, City of Glasgow in 5. Dylan Mitchell of Warrender in 6. Callum Aitchison of Bucky in 7. Lachlan Small from Stirling in 8. And James Boddy from Geary in lane 9. Connor and Royas had a pretty good scrap in the heats. 107.9, 109.7 in the end, with Connor just pulling away in the last few meters. So we'll see whether he continues that sort of form here. Out they go. And settling into their swims, and it is lanes 3, 4 and 5 setting the early pace. Connor Mitchell in the red cap in lane 4 is at the front of the spearhead.
Yeah, it could be a good battle between Connor and Royas. They're, as you can tell, two of the best junior breaststroke males in Scotland. Very quick down the first 50 from Connor, 30.5.
So the Warrender swimmer up by a second, coming now down the second length.
That's good speed at age 16.
So he came into this meet on a 107 that he did at Snags. So let's see if he can get inside that. It's going to be there or thereabouts. Certainly going to take the win. Can he get under 107? Ooh, yes, he can. 106.94. So just nudging inside his Snags time. And well done, Connor. Royas Kringellis in second, 108.56. Eric Roseland third, 109.32. So those three clearly ahead of the others. So good stuff there from those three, in particular Connor.
Excellent swim that.
On to the B final. Charlie Trotman, Edinburgh University in 0. Don Bissett of Stirling University in lane 1. Matthew Hand of Swim Ireland in lane 2. Hugo Westholm of Tabby Swim in lane 3. Andrew Arthur of Stirling University in 4. Liam O'Connor of Swim Ireland in 5. Joshua Mitchell, Edinburgh University in lane 6. Julius Gustafsson of Tabby Swim in 7. Liam Davis of Edinburgh University in 8. And Greg Fairbairn, University of Stirling in lane 9. 105s to 107s, the heat swims in this B final. Should be a pretty evenly contested race, this one. Just 500s between Andrew and Liam in the heats.
You know, I was about to say that it's, you know, there's a little gap, but it's also quite a narrow field, so this could go anyway, really. No strong favourite here. All good breaststrokers.
So in fact, no swimmer in lane 9, so Greg Fairbairn's opting out of this one. Off they go. So the swimmer in lane 5, Liam O'Connor in the green cap. Very sort of up and down stroke from him seems to be as compared with Andrew Arthur is probably, not lifting his head as much. How would you see that going in terms of that? Does that take some energy out when you do lift your head up as much as that?
In theory, yes, but it's more about the value you get from when you put it back down into the streamlined position. If you create a narrow shape as your legs come together at that point, you can get a real boost in terms of your propulsion and reducing the drag that the front end of your body is creating. So it's trying to hit that streamline at the end of every kick, if you know what I mean.
So that's more important than what happens to the head out of the water.
Yeah.
So lane 7 also going well. Julius Gustafsson is not far away from the two at the front, but it looks like Andrew Arthur just has the edge here in the black cap, and he takes the win. 1:05.23, nicely inside his heat swim by 0.6 or so. Liam O'Connor in second, just 0.2 behind him, and Julius Gustafsson in third, 1:05.59 for him.
Yeah, close race as we expected.
So there is the lineup ready to go for our A final. Just this little moment while they wait to be called out from the call room. Just a final preparation, a bit of limbering up. Get your routine going. So there at the front of the queue, going into lane 9, Rafe Dobson from Stirling University. So he makes his way out to poolside. Lane 8 is Owen Corby from Swim Ireland. Seen him in Scotland quite a bit over the years. Archie Goodburn, British champion at 50 breaststroke, goes into lane 7. There's George Smith back again after his 400 IM success. Goes into 6. There's Oisin Cook, strong Irish swimmer for Edinburgh University, in lane 5. James Wilby in lane 4 for Loughborough Performance Centre. Jonas Gaur goes into lane 3 for Denmark. Lane 2 is Alex Mayer of Stirling University. Lane 1 also Stirling University, Rory Dixon. And completing Stirling University lineup, William Ellington makes his way to lane 0. So you would think it's very hard to see past Will. We were talking about maybe getting under the minute.
Well, yes, I mean, that's always a target for any elite breaststroker. He's been under the minute before. Of course, been under 59. He's done a 58, which is really impressive. But he's, again, come back after the altitude training last week. He's still in season, working hard. But he swam really fast last night on the 50, and if he can keep that speed over the 2 lengths, then he would be hoping to break the minute point here.
Commonwealth champion, of course. That was a bit of a surprise. That he was absolutely magnificent in Birmingham, 4th in the World Championships, 5th in the Olympics in 2021.
Yeah, so you can tell the pedigree is the highest order.
And he is making his way to the front now, as you would expect. Pushing well in lane 7 is Archie Goodburn, and there's others in the mix. Lane 5, Oisin Cook, but it will be 28.24.
So 28.2, I think he's going to be pretty pleased with that, and he's a strong last 50 metres swimmer, so expect to see him pull away a little bit. I don't see the others challenging him here.
So he has certainly got the advantage. There's others pushing on pretty well. Jonas Gaur going well, Archie Goodburn going well, but it's going to be Wilby, there's no doubt about that. Let's see what the time is. I don't think he's going to get under the minute, but he's not far away from it. 1:00.43, so about a second faster than he was, and that is a new meet record as well. So taking Ross Murdoch's record of 60.64. So good stuff there from James. Takes the win. Jonas Gaur getting second, just ahead of Archie Goodburn by a 10th. 1:02.73, 1:02.83. Archie, of course, one that we hope for great things for in the breaststroke circles in Scotland.
Yeah, the Scottish record holder on the 50 breaststroke. He's competing at the European Under-23 Championships this summer, so kind of focusing on that at the moment. I think a good swim there from the Danish boy, Jonas Gauer. He's only 18, so that was a pretty decent swim for him, I think.
Yeah, very nice stuff. So from the men we move to the women. This is the junior final. The line-up there for you: Eva Robertson of Highland in 0, Ailey McNair of Margay and Bearsden in 1, Amy Owenson from Best, the Borders team, in lane 2, Zara Smith of Warrender in 3, Perry Scobby from Stirling in 4, Lucy Nimmo, City of Glasgow in 5, and Madeline Patterson also from City of Glasgow in lane 6, May Rogers of Warrender in 7, Katie Towers from Lanark in 8, and Daisy McInnes, City of Glasgow, in lane 8. Perry Scobby on 16.57, the fastest. 1:16.97, I should say. Fastest by about 1.4 on this field in the heats. So Stirling swimmer in the white cap there, just getting onto the blocks. Beside her, Lucy Nimmo, both 16-year-olds. A group of 16-year-olds, a couple of 14-year-olds in the outside lanes. Eva in 0, Daisy in 9. To the breakout, and it's lane 3, Zara Smith, who is setting the pace early on here. Warrender swimmer. See if she can sustain this. But a good start from her. Came in on a 1:16.50. 1:19 in the heats, but she is first to turn, 35.71. Up by just over 3/10, Lucy Nimmo and Perry Scobby. Are they going to come back at Zara down the second half? Perry certainly is pushing on in lane 4. Still Zara holding on to that lead just about, but maybe starting to tie up a little bit. And Perry is after her.
Lucy Nimmo and Maddie Patterson also coming strong in 5 and 6 here. Promising to be a really close finish. Mai Rogers also in contention.
Yeah, but it looks like Perry, though, in the white caps, just timed that beautifully to come through in the second half and take the win. 1:17.93 for her. I think she'll be disappointed with the time, probably. That was a second slower than she did earlier. In fact, probably a couple of these swimmers will be a bit disappointed with those times, but a good, exciting race, though. Lucy Nimmo second, Madeline Patterson third, 2 from the home team.
I think was Perry was in also had to do a swim off with Amy McLeod here, who's in the B final earlier in the day as well. So might have that was her third 100 today, so maybe a little bit tired.
Yeah. Well, we've seen these people doing an 800 and going to 400. I am doing 300 breaststrokes.
It shouldn't be a problem.
No problem. Yeah. There's the B final lineup for you. Ophelia Nodecker goes for Denmark in 0. Nuala Gow of Geary in 1. Hayley Robertson, South Ayrshire in 2. Vicky Russell, University of Stirling in 3. Killa Kirkter of Denmark in 4. Niamh Connery from Swim Ireland in 5. Ellie Kennedy, City Glasgow in 6. Emily McGee from Carnoustie in 7. Kira Davison, City Glasgow in 8. And Amy McLeod, as we said, won that swim off. And a place in the B final.
And Amy, she's going into 10th position here into the B final, but she actually went 1:14 in that swim off, so that would put her into second place if she was to do that again. So don't rule her out here.
Certainly an experience when I've seen it. Pretty hard for swimmers who really swim their socks off in a swim off to replicate that in the final later on.
Yes, it's often the case. You very rarely see them then go faster than the swim off time.
But let's see if Amy can do that, see if the adrenaline is there, as of course it is always there in a swim off when you know you are head to head with somebody who's absolutely matched with you.
Yeah, she should never, to be fair, she should never really have ended up in that swim off. Her heat prior to that was really a bit disappointing.
Oh, that's a real coach comment there. Congratulations, she got in this one. Why are you there?
Yeah, no, she's a good kid, and but really going out fast here is 33.7.
Yep, taking it out. The Danes there really showing their stuff here. So 114 from her in the heats. Came in with a 113 from the Danish Open, so see if she can get around the 113 or below here. She's certainly got the advantage, and she's not that far ahead, but
some of the others coming back at her a little bit.
I think she is going to be a hold on to take this though. Going well in lane 2 is Ailey Robertson, and also in lane 5 Neve Connery, but it is Kelly takes it 113.50, so did improve on the heat swim. Neve Connery in second, Ailey Robertson in third, and that was pretty decent, 114.88 from Amy, so yeah, sure, I think be pretty pleased with that as a final swim, pretty close to her swim in the swim off.
Yeah, some good swims there. Most of those girls improving from their heat performance, so
here come the swimmers out into the A final. Getting a little bit of confusion here. Some of them have maybe just in danger of going out a bit early, but they've been held. In fact, Olwen Cook already out there at her blocks, as is Katie Goodburn. So they can they get done for a full stop coming out to the maybe not. So they're both Edinburgh University, Olwen and Katie. Then in 7, Ida Krav, Denmark, and there's Katie Robertson. And now Cara Hanlon, winner yesterday in the 50 breaststroke, and she'll be doing battle with this lady, Mona McSharry of Marlins in Ireland. There's Anna Morgan, who's having a good season. It goes into lane 3 for Edinburgh University. Lily Booker, another strong breaststroke from Loughborough in lane 2. Shastine Tabor in lane 1 for Denmark, and Ava Jones goes for Swim Ireland, the 15-year-old, one of the younger members of the Irish team here. So that's your lineup. Mona was absolutely electric, 106.60 in the heats earlier. So that was very special. Did a 66.0 at the Irish Championship, so she wasn't too far from that in the heats. Smashed the meet record this morning. Can she go even faster tonight? Can Cara Hanlon stay close with her? Those are the questions.
Yeah, some real experienced swimmers in this final. 7 swimmers who are in their 20s. You know, it's a really experienced field and world class as well.
So let's see how they go. So I can tell you that they were both, Cara and Mona were on 31.8s in the heats at the split. So keep an eye on their times here as they come up towards the turn. Does look like Mona's got the early advantage. Well, Cara is pretty much with her though. There's very little to choose between them at the turn. Oh, Mona by 1600ths.
Anna Morgan also doing a good job in 3rd place.
Both of them faster than they were this morning.
Better turn from Mona.
Yeah, she's got, what, half a metre, but Cara is coming back at her. So Cara got the win in the 50, showing some terrific speed, but it's still Mona by about a metre. Cara doing her best to work that down. Coming up 7 meters to go. It looks like Mona is going to hold off. A determined challenge from Cara Hanlon. It's getting tighter, but Mona takes the win. 106.15. So improving the meet record there. And Cara Hanlon 106.36. That is a new Scottish record for Cara Hanlon. Just a fraction away from the British record as well, Cara Hanlon there. The British record standing up 106.21. So you have seen 2 amazing swims there. So Mona 106.15 smashes the meet record again from the record she set earlier. And then look at that Cara Hanlon Scottish record there just behind her. I think she'll be happy with that. I know she was disappointed she didn't improve the Scottish record at Sheffield, but to do it here, that's a bit of a surprise.
A little bit, yeah. Need to speak to her coach, Matt Trodden, and find out why she's going so fast here and breaking the Scottish record again. It's great performance.
Yeah.
Really nice to see, and she, it shows you can hit those times. You don't have to be at the World Championships to do it. You can do it here, and it shows that her training is working and it's on track.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. That certainly, those two swims will make the world sit up and take notice, I would think.
I think
you
so.
said they were world class going in, and they go that fast here.
Yeah, I mean, that 106 is it's certainly going to put you in the semi-final at the World Championships. And then it's going to be a tight race, and how close you can get. If you get to 105s, you're almost certainly in the final at the World Championships.
Yeah.
So that's what they'll be going there to aim to do.
Yeah, so Mona and Cara will be looking to continue that progression. But we've got to move on. We're going to 200 butterfly now, and it's the turn of the men, the junior final. You saw the lineup on the screen while we were still waxing lyrical about the breaststrokers. So we'll run through the field. Daniel Hendry, City of Glasgow in 0. Lewis Maxwell Pauls in lane 1 for Warrender. Jed Armitage of Highland in 2. Cameron Gill of First in 3. Ewan Watson of Renfrew Baths in 4. Aaron Steele of East Kilbride in 5. James Boddy of Geary in 6. Caden McLaughlin, Marco and Best End in 7. Cole Murphy of City of Glasgow in lane 8. And Innes Gow of Geary in lane 9.
Well, Ewan Watson came up very close to the 15 marker there after his underwater start. And he's going to take the touch at the first length.
So hopefully it was very close on the right side. 30-20. Through halfway. Coming at him now in lane 6 is Geary's James Boddy. So after that electric start from Ewan, it looks like James is the one who's settling into the swim. And then in between them, we've got East Kilbride's Aaron Steele.
Yeah, it's one of those tough races, as you will expect. The 200 butterfly, you've got to be careful with your pacing if you want to finish strongly at the end. It's no good going out too hard and losing it all. You've got to balance it around, no matter who you are.
James Boddy, we talked about the Geary program and focusing on these tough races, and so James, I think, will be well used to competing in this 200 butterfly.
Yes, he's used to doing multiple swims. He's a tough worker, and he's going for it here.
So he's got himself about a 3-meter lead as we come up to the 150 turn. Check on his split here. So a 37.6 to take him up to 143.3, and you see it's nearly a second faster than Aaron, who's moved into second now. Ewan Watson perhaps paying for that fast start.
And that's going to put him well quick. If he holds that pace, he'll be well quicker than his heat time, that's for sure.
So came into this meet on a 2:18, which was considerably faster than what he swam earlier. So he'll be looking to be much closer to that 2:18, and he's going to be, well, probably not quite at that pace, but not far off it. Certainly a convincing victory in this junior final. 2:20.47. So very good progression from heats to finals there. 2:29 down to 2:20. Aaron Steele 2:26. Cameron Gill 2:28. Caden McLaughlin just behind him. So on to the B final now. They're making their way onto poolside, and there is, well, that is just confirmation of the result. The officials have maybe something to just chat about there, but they have confirmed that result. So we move on, and we have Connor Stewart from Stirling going in lane 0. Fraser Wilson, University of Aberdeen in 1. Nikolai Sisnet, the youngster from City of Glasgow in 2, just 13 years old. Igor Suvalov, Edinburgh University in 3. Rory Young from City of Glasgow in 4. Benjamin Chuyan of Edinburgh University in 5. Callum Sinclair from West Lothian in 6. Dean Bargatti of Hamilton in 7. Ishmael Shalabi of Warrender in 8. And Fraser Cowie from South Ayrshire in lane 9. couple of swimmers on 2:15s in the heats, Rory and Ben.
We've even got a 13-year-old in this B final, Nikolai Sisnit from Glasgow, one of the young talents that we have at the moment, but very strange to see a 13-year-old make a B final in an open event, so well done to him.
Yeah, he came into this meet on a 2:27, which he did to win national age groups in his, of course, the youngest age group in national age groups. Took that down to a 2:23 earlier on. So what can he do here in the final?
Yeah, he's a talent, that's for sure.
He's a big lad for his age.
He is big for a 13, yes. But not overworked yet in training. He's just building it up carefully and doing it one bit at a time and patient with his progress. But certainly a good summer.
Yeah, I'm sure the City of Glasgow coaching team will be taking good care of him.
Yeah, he swims out of the School of Sport as part of the City of Glasgow teams. They're coached there by Heather Campbell and Jamie McKinley.
Great start from Igor Suvalov, though, the Estonian based in Edinburgh. So he is really picking out the pace here. He probably would have wanted to have been in the A final here, not in the B.
I mean, normally we've seen Igor in the past in the A finals chasing for the medal, so he's probably, maybe, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but probably not that happy with his heat performance, and now he's having to resurrect a good swim in the final here.
So he's well clear of everybody else, 3.5 seconds up on Ben Chuan. Rory Young in third, much tighter contest for third, but it is Igor and Ben, the two Edinburgh University swimmers, first and second, clear of the rest of them, and Igor. So yeah, Igor with a 2:01 entry time, but he was down at a 2:16 this morning. So as you said, I'm sure he wouldn't have been too happy with that. 1:33. So that was a 33 there. So we're looking at something in 2:06 sort of territory, which would be more like it. 2:06, in fact, would have, if he'd done that this morning, would have made him second, third fastest. Let's see what time he does come in on. It'll be interesting when we see the A finals come in, just where this swim would rank. It certainly would be up there, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, he should have been in the A final, this Igor, but he's tying up a little bit as he comes in, but no doubt about the first place.
Yeah, there was a significantly slower last 50 there from Igor, but the work had been done, and he takes the win by 3.5 seconds over Ben Chuan. And Rory Young in third, 2:15 for him. So confirmation of that result as we get ready for the A final. Chant for Tom Bealey, the British Championship silver medalist, member of the Scottish Commonwealth Games team last year. So he'll be going in lane 4. But there they are, and there is the Inca swimmer from Fife, ready to come out, Matthew McMillan, member of the Scottish junior team. Waiting patiently for the call to summon him to his block. And here he goes, lane 9, Matthew McMillan. Michael Flynn in lane 8 for City of Glasgow. In 7, Peter Allen of Stirling University. In lane 6, Scott Fleming of East Kilbride. Andrew Paterli looking cool in lane 5, goes for University of Stirling. There's Tom Bealey with his race face on in lane 4. Stefan Kravis goes in lane 3, East Lothian swimmer. Sean Donnellan goes in lane 2 for Swim Ireland. There is Callum Rose for Edinburgh University in lane 1, and Tom Robinson, University of Aberdeen, will make his way to lane 0. Confirmation line up there, so Tom Bealey, a 2:02 in the heats this morning, entered the meet on a 1:58. So he would be looking to get maybe around the 2 minutes here. Meet record 2:00.83, could get close to that.
Yeah, I mean, his PB of a 1:58. So if he gets down to 2 minutes, I'm sure he'll be quite happy with that today.
Andrew Bertoli is looking pretty good this weekend as well.
Yeah, he's a very talented young man. This is probably his best event, but he's also good at medley and backstroke and breaststroke. He's going to be in the group that we take out to Rome in a few weeks' time, so I'm sure he'll be looking to go quicker than the 2.6 would expect him to. He may have been within himself a little bit this morning. Also interested to see what Stefan Kravic can do here. He's on the British team for the European Junior Championships coming up in a month's time, so he's in the middle of preparing for that, but he's one of our best butterfly swimmers, as you know.
Yeah, he goes in lane 3. So as we see them going up, and see it is the white cap Tom Bealey, and beside him Andrew Bertoli in lane 5. So those two are going to lead them through the 50. Bealey 26.92. In fact, Bertoli getting the touch there. 26.99 Bealey. Callum Rose off to a strong start in lane 1. In third place, you can see there in the University cap at the top of your screen. But in focus now, it is clearly Tom Bealey in the lead by around about a body length.
Looking really nice here, Tom, going out very strong, but he looks smooth at the same time. 57.1 is a good split.
That's about a second faster than he was in the heats this morning. He was a 58.0 in the heats this morning. Andrew Bertoli also going well, 58.5. So he was out 101 in the heats this morning, so he's going significantly faster. Third place. Well, Scott Fleming's going nicely. Callum Rose still up there in lane 1. But, well, we know, I think, who's going to be first and second here. 128.97, so he's not going to be far away from 2 minutes here, Tom.
A good third length for Bertoli, but he's 5 meters back from Tom now. And Tom, it's all about can you hold your pace on this last 50? It's so tiring, the 200 butterfly. It's so difficult to swim the same speed on the last length as it is on the third.
And you can see the effort in the face as we saw that frontal shot of Tom. Let's see as he comes up to the 2 minutes. He's going to be very close to it. Oh, 2:00.08. Well, he has to be happy with that, and that is another meet record that has gone. So, excellent stuff. Quality swim from Tom there. Andrew Bertoli. A good swim from him as well.
Yeah, 2:05, and I think a joint third place there between Callum Rose and Scott Fleming.
You're absolutely right there. Good spot. 2:07.46 for the two of them. Callum and Scott. So great stuff. We're having a good night here.
Yeah, it's good to see some of the meet records going down.
Lots of them.
You know, they were fairly strong records to begin with, so it's nice to see that new ones being established, you know.
Yeah, I think when they write the revised record list, there's going to be an awful lot of 2023s on there.
Yeah, for sure. That's good. I like to see that.
Absolutely. So we've seen the men on the 200 butterfly. Now it's the turn of the women. Starting once again with the junior final. You'll line up there. Lucy Morgan, University of Aberdeen, goes in 0. Lauren Brolly of Fauldhouse in 1. Amy Rowell, City of Glasgow in 2. Kira Gregg of Fauldhouse in 3. Millie Colvin of Dumfries in 4. Kalila Smith, Aberdeen Dolphin in 5. Macy Carty of Fauldhouse in 6. Sophia Falone of Montefieth in 7. Isla Kay of South Aberdeenshire in 8. And Thea Glenn, City of Glasgow in lane 9. 2:44s in the centre lanes, Millie and Kalila. 2:45 for Kira, 2:46 for Macy, the two Fauldhouse swimmers. So it could be a close one here. Again, a number of these swimmers came out of the afternoon heats. In fact, we've got an empty lane. No Amy Rowell in lane 2.
Amy must be still getting her breath back from the 400 IM that she swam in earlier on.
Yeah, maybe tweak something, or well, for whatever reason, she's not here. So expecting a close one here. Good start from the Aberdeen Dolphin, Kalila Smith. So now the only 13-year-old in this field, with Amy not being there. So showing no fear up against the older swimmers. But Millie Colvin getting the touch, 33.71. Well, I think we are going to see a good tight contest here.
Yeah, we've got 4 good up-and-coming female swimmers here, fighting it out around the second length of this flight.
Macy Carty is up there in lane 6.
We saw her earlier on already. Millie Colvin, I think, just about in the lead.
Yep, maybe by, well, best part of a metre over the 2 Fauldhouse girls. 1:15.01 at halfway. And you see there 41.3, so that is half a second faster than Macy and a second faster than Kira on that second 50. Nice close up here from the Dumfries swimmer. Is that a dolphin they've got on their cap? Looks like it.
So, Dumfries Dolphins, is it?
Well, there you go. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, swimming for Dumfries. I know she. I think she lives in the Stranraer and has trains between the 2 programs, I think. And coming into the last 50 here, she's pulled away from the others on that third 50. So it's a good job, and looks like she can hold on.
Yeah, so I was predicting a close one here. So maybe Macy can push on in this last 50, but, well, it's looking good for Millie. So not so close after all. Millie clearly holding it back a little bit in the heat, and we'll be looking to get under that 2:44.51, which I think she's going to do pretty comfortably. So a job well done for her.
Yeah, nice swim there. 2:41, very good.
So 3 seconds faster than she was earlier. Macy 2:44.72, so she's also as fast as she was in the heats. Takes second place, and Kalila Smith just coming past Sophia Falone and Kira Gregg just fading in that last 50.
Yeah, Kalila put in a strong last 50 there.
So she took third. B finalist next up. There is your lineup. They will be making their way to the pool side. Alice Cummings, City of Glasgow in 0. Ellen Denny of Geary in 1. Louise Connell, City of Glasgow in 2. Gabriella Lessing from Ren 96 in 3. Lexine McCappin of first in 4. Then 2 Geary swimmers, Catherine Boddy in 5. Nuala Gow in 6. Lucy de Grosser of Best in 7. Rosie Liston, City of Glasgow in 8. And Lauren Anderson of West Lothian in lane 9. So we've seen a number of these swimmers before this evening. So again, it's about their resilience, swimming through a tough program, multiple finals in the same evening. And I guess that is good discipline as well, isn't it? To just be able to get those routines right. So you prepare for your first race, you swim your first race, you do your swim down, you get yourself all set for the next race.
Yeah, it's really good to establish. I went to try and get into those habits quite early, and then they become habits and hold you in good stead when you get older and you learn how to do it better. You know, it could be one day you're in swimming in an international and it's your individual event followed by a relay that you have to get ready for, and you know, to some extent when you're talking to age groupers, those are kind of messaging. Sometimes they're a bit reluctant, but you're saying this is a lesson. We're trying to teach you how to do this so you can, in the future, when you're at even if it's not international, you might be swimming for your team at the Scottish Short Course or the Bucks Championships, and you've got to do 3 swims in a session, and it's all practice for that in some case.
Catherine Body setting off nicely here, 31.72.
Yeah, really going down for it on the first 50.
Catherine certainly is on her at least second swim. I can't remember whether she's done 3, but I think she's certainly done 1 before this. So looking good.
Louise Connell going well. Louise did well on the 100 butterfly last night, I think. 107. And she's in contention here out of lane 2.
Yeah, and then you get a feel for where they're all placed. There's a group of swimmers all vying for second. Gabriella Lessing, Louise Connell, Alan Denny, and Lucy de Gross are all in there, sort of 111 high, 112 low. So still behind Catherine, who is about a body length clear, but she's not getting away from them. And lane 3, Gabriella Lessing perhaps, Louise Connell beside her, those two.
Yeah, the Rensummer, Gabriella Lessing going well here, trying to challenge. Louise holding on as well, but it's still quite close across the whole field.
And Catherine Body will be looking to hang on to this lead. You can see her intermediate split there, about 8/10 slower than Gabriella. So certainly Gabriella and Louise still very much in with a chance here, but Catherine will be wanting to buckle down here down this last lane, and I think she's doing that.
What's so important is you hold your technique now in this last 25. If you want to hold your speed, you got to hold your technique.
And I guess she would be conscious that the swimmers were coming back at her a bit, and that just adds to the pressure a little bit, doesn't it? And
yeah, and here comes Louise Connell though.
Yeah, it is getting very tight now. It's going to be on the touch between them. Who gets it? Ooh, Catherine by 0.02 of a second. But look at that, 41.5 and a 39.5. Louise Connell finishing that absolute train there. Nola Gam off to a strong finish as well to grab third. We hadn't talked about her through the race, but she came up and just snatched it from Gabriella Lessing to take third. But Catherine hanging on by the skin of her teeth there, 2:31.58. So well done to her. Really did the hard yards early on. And here we go, ready to go for a final, the women's 200 meters butterfly. We wait patiently for the call to make their way. That's Abigail Crawford we're looking at. Great opportunity for the 14-year-old to swim in this company. And here she comes. She must be a bit nervous, you would think. More experienced campaigner there. The backstroke specialist Holly McGill goes in lane 8 for Heart of Midlothian. Faye Rogers, watch out for her, the S10 para swimmer, University of Aberdeen. Terrific this morning. Lucy Grieve, University of Stirling in lane 6. It's Kira Schlossen looking serious in lane 5 for Edinburgh University. Laura Stevens goes to lane 4, representing Loughborough Performance Centre. Kiana McInnes in lane 3 for Stirling University. Lane 2 is Alana Burns-Atkin of Swim Ireland. Sarah Keegan, University of Aberdeen in lane 1. And in lane 0, it is Kirsty Gilmore from Hamilton.
Yeah, interesting lineup here. Good lineup with the middle of the pool is stacked with national, international class swimmers. Laura Stevens, World Championship finalist in this event. World ranked in the top 10.
Yep, Commonwealth silver medalist as well. Kiana, Scottish record at the British Championships.
Yes, I was a little surprised at Kiana's form yesterday in the 100. A bit slower than she normally goes. So she seemed to do a good heat at the 200. This is one of usually her better event, the 200. So we'll see what she's up to tonight.
Interesting you say that when she's a British champion in the 100.
I know, it's a little bit of a surprise that she's come on strong in the 100 over the years. I think the 200 is still her go-to race, the one she prefers.
Certainly always has been as she developed through the years. But it should be a good three-way contest here. Kiana, Laura and Kira will all want to show their stuff, but you fancy Laura, you would think.
Yeah, Laura's another one of those swimmers who's just back from that altitude training camp in Arizona last weekend, and she was also in good form at that. So Interested to see what she can perform here.
So she is, well, no, in fact, Kira Schlossen just getting the touch by a tenth from Laura, 29.35 and 29.44. Both of them faster than they were in the heats for that first 50. Kiana McInnes certainly in the mix with them, but it is now Laura Stevens by about a metre from the other two. Maybe making that a metre and a half now as we come up to the 100 turn. 1:02.08.
So that's, that's reasonable. It's not overdoing it, but a good second 50 split from Laura at 32.6 to establish that position. Chiara's been having a good season, come into real form this year, and with the University of Edinburgh program, and going well in second place.
Yeah, so it looks at the moment like it's a battle for second between her and Kiana McInnes, but Laura Stevens up to the 150, 135.39.
It's another good split, and also from Chiara, 33s from both. Another 33 here, she could go 208.
So she broke the meet record, 2:10.47 in the heats, and I think she's going to improve on that tonight.
She's always really tough in the last part of the race. It's a tough part of the race, obviously, but she hangs in, she works hard, she holds her stroke, keeps the rhythm, she's working to a stroke count that she wants to hit. And here she comes.
It's a terrific swim there, 2:10.18, and that does improve her time from this morning, so that is a new meet record. Laura Stevens, another one bites the dust. Kira Schlossen taking second, 2:12.04, and Kiana McInnes, 2:13.94 in third.
I think a good finish from Lucy Grieve to get fourth there with a nice, actually the fastest last 50 of the race there from Lucy, touching at 2:14, but a good swim from Laura Stevens.
Yeah, Lucy came into the meet on 2:18, did a 2:16 in the heats this morning, then taking it down to 2:14, so that's very good progression. Don't think of Lucy as a 200 swimmer, I must admit.
No, she didn't grow up on that. She grew up on the 50 and the 100, but she's getting older. She's obviously got a great technique that she can hold. As she gets a bit stronger, a bit fitter, that 200 starting to come together quite nicely there.
But another meet record goes, and it's Laura Stevens, our winner in the women's 200 butterfly. Continuing a great season for Laura. It's 200 freestyle that's next up. Starting off with the men. Junior final. Line up there. Adam Scott, Ren 96 in 0. Jensen Norris from Perth in 1. And 2 East Lothian swimmers. Callum Peebles in 2. Stefan Kravis, quick return to the pool for him after the 200 fly. Dennis O'Brien and John Short go in 4 and 5 for Swim Ireland. Georgios Baniotis stars the Greek team in lane 6. Zach Slater, East Lothian in lane 7. Leo Galerius, Tabby Swim in lane 8, and Rory Webster, Dumfries in lane 9. So the swimmers were knocking on the door of 2 minutes in the heats this morning. Dennis O'Brien, the fastest, 2:00.11, so he'll certainly, plus others I'm sure, will be wanting to get under the 2 minutes this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll see a better race here where I would hope 5 or 6 of these will be under 2 minutes tonight, including the Greek swimmer in lane 6, the Irish swimmers and the East Lothian swimmers will be looking for that as well, I think.
So let's see how this one works out. Again, on paper it should be tight. Not always worked out that way, as we've seen tonight. Good strong start from Stefan Kravis. He, I think, held back maybe a little bit in the 200 flights. You think maybe he's just focusing on this one tonight?
Well, I don't know for sure that he was doing that, but his performance in the 200 fly certainly wasn't up to his best level, so whether this was more of his priority tonight, I'm not sure, but he's certainly giving it a go, and I know this is one of the events he does want to challenge on in the future, as well as his butterfly.
also, of course, such a pedigree in men's 200 freestyle in Scotland. It was a hard act to keep maintaining with this sort of constant stream of Commonwealth medals in the 4x200.
It is, yeah. We keep finding new ones to come into that pack. This is a good swim here. He's really attacked this nicely. Now in 55.4 with 28.9 on the last 50. You're trying to hit another 28 here. Hold your pace on this third 50 and then smash it down the last 50 if you can. Sorry, go on.
John Short, very impressive swimmer as well, so he might give him a challenge down this last 50 metres. See, he was a bit faster than Stefan on that third 50.
John Short's a great backstroke. I think he goes under 2 minutes of backstroke, so he'll certainly be wanting to go under 2 minutes of freestyle.
And it's getting tight between the two of them now, but Stefan still has the advantage, and I don't think he's going to be caught. If they come to the final 5, he's up by about a metre, maybe a bit more. So it is the East Lothian swimmer well under the 2 minutes there, 1:55.32. Entered 1:53.46, so not too far away from that.
Yeah, I think he's going to be pretty happy with that swim. It was a well-executed swim. Maybe he needs to look at just trying to tighten up that third 50 a little bit. He dropped off his pace there, but fought back nicely on the last 50 to take the win and keep ahead of John.
John Short second there, Dennis O'Brien in third. So it's Ireland second and third in that one. And now to the B final. Cedar Gullum will go for Warrender in lane 0. Greg Fairbairn of Stirling University in 1. Luke Hornsey of East Lothian in lane 2. Rory McKinnon, City of Glasgow in 3. And 2 Edinburgh University swimmers, Arthur Logan in 4, Bruno Kempster in 5. Arian Zampras of Stars in 6. Mads Muller of Denmark in 7. Theodore Lofgren of Denmark in 8. And Conor Fitzgerald from Ireland in lane 9. Lots of international swimmers on the bottom of your screen going in this one up against the Scots who will be going in the top of the screen, and Arthur and Bruno, the 2 Edinburgh University swimmers. I think neither of them are Scots, but representing the Scottish team in Edinburgh.
Yeah, and a good race here, stacked up to make a good race for anyone, has generally got a fair chance in this race.
So 1:57 up to 1:59 was the times in the heats. So we saw that 1:55 from Stefan in the junior finals. So they'll be looking to go faster than that.
Yeah, they'll be aiming for that. It may be tough, but there's certainly the capability here to do it. But they'll have to execute the race correctly, like Stefan did.
So strong starts, lane 3, lane 4, Rory McKinnon, City of Glasgow, Arthur Logan, Edinburgh University. Also up there, Bruno Kempster in lane 5. In fact, Bruno now pushing through, and he leads well in the 50 split, 25.38. Good strong start from him, up by nearly a second now on his teammate Arthur Logan.
That's a good pace. I hope he's not gone too hard. He just seems to be settling back a little bit into a more comfortable pace here. Maybe he wanted to get out ahead of the field and lead it on from there.
So Bruno coming into this meet on a 1:54, so it was 1:57 in the heats. Wanted to get towards that 1:54 here, 54.90. So just as a reference point, that is half a second faster than Stefan Crevice was in the junior final. But now he's got company. Arthur Logan right up, in fact, going past him. And lane 3, Rory McKinnon not far away. Neither is Luke Hornsey, who had terrific 1500 freestyle yesterday.
Yeah, Rory's going well here. This is a good swim for him and Luke. One of our better distance swimmers, up and coming junior swimmers, trying to make his way in the 200 here as well, fighting hard.
And I think Bruno is paying for that fast start now, as it's 1:25.14. Arthur Logan taking it down. And, well, he's got company. Rory McKinnon is pushing him hard. So is Luke Hornsey in lane 2. So it's these 3 in a line, and it's Luke Hornsey who is pushing through. This is a super swim, so I think we're going to see an East Lothian double here. Stefan Kravis taking the junior, Luke Hornsey taking the B. 1:54.72 for Luke. So that was a good swim from him, pretty close to his entry time, 1:53.9. So continuing another good performance from East Lothian.
And he really paced that extremely well. You know, he didn't do what Bruno did and tank it out on the first 50. He waited, he bided his time, he came through on the third 50 and then put his best 50 in down the last length, 28.5, which is just the way you want to see that. That's what you're looking for as a coach. That kind of performance.
So here come the A finalist, Casper Pugard making his way out. There's Evan Bailey from Swim Ireland, goes to lane 8. Joe Litchfield, lane 7. In 6, it's Evan Jones from Stirling University. There in lane 5, Duncan Scott representing Stirling University. His teammate in lane 4, Jack McMillan, will go to lane 4, Stirling University. There's Nicholas Costello of Denmark in lane 3. In lane 2 is Cameron Travis. Charlie Brown goes for Loughborough in lane 1, and Scott Gibson, the backstroke specialist, showing that's what he can do in 200 freestyle here in lane 0.
Yeah, nice to see Scott, who we normally see in the 50-100 backstroke, making the 200 freestyle A final.
But this should be a McMillan Scott shootout, you would think. Evan Jones might try and stick with them as well.
For sure. I mean, I think you'll see Joe Litchfield also having a go. He's part of the World Championship team for the 4x200. Again, another one of the swimmers who was at that altitude camp and did some really big work up there. He might be a little bit tired coming off of that, but we'll see. Costello is also a very good swimmer from Denmark, only age 16 as well, so real prospect in him.
So your guide, Litchfield in the red cap there, goes in lane 7. And we've got the black caps there, furthest away, McMillan, then Scott, then Jones nearer to us. And Costello in the white cap in lane 3.
Well, I was really impressed with how McMillan swam the first 100 this morning. He looked really good. I think he maybe closed it down a little bit in the second half. But yeah, Joe Litchfield off to a good start. I expect to see him have a go from the off.
I think it's going to be Duncan Scott first to turn. So he had a nice 200 IM swim yesterday, and he does lead 24.93. It was an absolutely fantastic race in the British Championships, this 200 freestyle. And Duncan third in the end on that one. Jack was 5th, Joe was 6th. So up to halfway. Scott goes through in 52.32. So that's a second faster than he was this morning. It's right there with him still, Jack McMillan.
Yeah, very good splitting, low 27s. Jack working really hard to stay with Duncan. Duncan trying to put the pressure on now and pull away on the third 50. Evan Jones is still going really strong.
Yeah, he's having a good contest with Joe Litchfield for third, but it's Scott and McMillan through the final turn, 119.8, 120.3.
We could see, well, I think we're certainly going to see 147 here, maybe 146 if they can finish strong. It's not done though, this race.
Yep, Jack McMillan is pushing on hard here, and he is up there with Duncan Scott now. Duncan will need to find something in these last few meters just to see off this challenge. I think he's just going to do that and comes in. I think he knew exactly what he was doing there. 147.93, and another meet record goes. In fact, Jack McMillan had it, but not anymore. Duncan Scott has it now, 147.93. Another meet record. Don't know how many we've had today, I've lost count, but there's a good number. Jack McMillan was also inside the old meet record, 148.19. I think he'll be pretty happy with that as well. So cracking stuff from there. Evan Jones in third, so Stirling University ruling the roost there. Joe Litchfield just behind him in fourth. Very tight between those two.
Well, both Duncan and Jack are in that 4x2 mix for the World Championships on the British team. And it's good to see Jack pushing Duncan right to the finish there. People expect Duncan to win, but it's good for him to be challenged as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, they'll know each other very well from training together. And so, yeah, Jack definitely a threat there down that last lane. Women's 200 freestyle now. Junior final line up there. Layla Weatherspoon going for hearts in lane 0. Louise Connell, the City of Glasgow, back again in lane 1. Ida Sohn, Denmark in 2. Heidi Wren, City of Glasgow in 3. Ashley Drake of Warrender in 4. Evie Mackey, Lanark in 5. Tegan Black of East Lothian in 6. Ava Jones, Swim Ireland in 7. Sabrina Machin of City of Glasgow in 8. And Perry Scobby in lane 9. That is a replacement there in lane 9. So Perry Scobby in as a late replacement in lane 9, gets her chance to swim in this junior final. So see what she can do there in the white cap. So nice to see her getting a chance here. But in the centre lanes, Ashley Drake, Evie Mackey taking it out here. I think it's going to be those two.
And the Irish summer.
Yep, Ava Jones. In fact, she turns second just behind Evie, 29.93 for Evie. Nice turn from Ashley though, and that's just edged her into the lead. I think lane 4. 16-year-old from Warrender. But it really is a three-way contest here. Halfway mark, Ashley Drake, 1:03.05, so good second 50 from her.
Yeah, that's very good. We'll certainly be beating the heat times if we can keep that pace going.
Does look like maybe Evie Mackey is, perhaps, well, looked like she was getting closer to her, but that shot suggests not. Be interesting to see their relative pacing on this third 50. Ashley certainly is still going to lead them through it, which she does, a 33.8. In fact, she is faster than Evie, so looking good for the Warrender girl, 1:36.92. 50 to go. She's up by a second now. Again, another nice turn. She's obviously working on her turns here. Seems to get most of her advantage through the turns.
Yeah, doing a great job here, pushing hard down this final 25. It's a nice swim this from Ashley Drake.
So she will take the win pretty comfortably, 2:10.41.
That's a good job.
Well inside her heat swim of 2:13.70. She came in on a 2:10.20, so pretty close to that. 2/10 away from her best time, you can't argue with that. Evie Mackey, 2:12.31. Ava Jones just behind her, 2:12.65. The line-up there for the B final. Catherine Renfrew of Perth City will go in 0. Then we'll have 2 Danes, Falca Tind in 1, Sophie Hirsch in 2. Olivia Butler and Nicole Ritchie, both from Edinburgh University, go into lanes 3 and 4. And the Warrender swimmer Natasha Simpson in lane 5. Aberdeen's Rebecca Reid in 6. Aberdeen University's Mary Mischenko in 7. Warrender's Phoebe Arbuckle in lane 8 and Isabel Wood Sterling in lane 9. Phoebe Arbuckle, of course, we saw in that 800 freestyle going well. And she's had a fair amount of time to recover from that. Nice view of that big panoramic window that we have here in Tollcross as we look at the swimmers there. I'll tell you, it's a lovely evening here. Blue skies, those trees in full leaf. Where would you rather be than Tollcross? Don't answer that. So we have a couple of swimmers on 208s, 3 swimmers on 209s, another host of swimmers on 210s in the heats. Natasha Simpson would like to make it back-to-back Warrender wins, or maybe Phoebe Arbuckle for that matter. But,
fairly even field here. Again, it's one of those races that you put your mind to it and get the tactics right, it could go anywhere.
Rebecca Reid starting strongly in lane 6 from Aberdeen. And the more experienced swimmers, 21-year-old, 29.34. Coached by Alison Lowe up in Aberdeen. And a swimmer who's really sort of stuck to her swimming through her career and maintaining a good high standard. Lane 4 is Nicole Ritchie. She's an Italian, been based now in Edinburgh University for a couple of years. 19-year-old. And she now has the lead, 1:01.52. Olivia Butler in second, Rebecca Reid now down to third. Also up there in lane 2 is Sophie Hirsch. Natasha Simpson trying to keep with the leading group there in lane 5. She's maybe making a bit of progress down this third length. It looks like it's going to be, is it Rebecca Reid back in the lead? It's close. Yes, it is.
Good swimming from Rebecca Reid this. She could go 2:06 here with the same pace. The Edinburgh swimmer's just trying to claw ahead though. But it's tight.
Yeah, so it's Rebecca in the white cap, Nicole in lane 4 in that black and red cap of Edinburgh University. I think it's between these two now, unless there is a stunning comeback in these last 10 metres. And it is close. Nicole Ritchie is right up there with Rebecca now. Who's going to get the touch? Ooh, so tight. It is Rebecca by 300ths, 2:07.33 for her. So that's an improvement of nearly 2 seconds on a heat swim. Nicole just behind her, 2:07.36, and Sophie in third, 2:07.94. So good stuff from Rebecca there. 2:07.06 she came into, so right up at that pace this evening. And there are your A finalists. This will be another good one. Christine Nielsen-Norby. In fact, it's Drew Mackenzie there, just saying, can I go? Yep, you can. So she's off into lane 9 for City of Glasgow. Anna Ron from Denmark in lane 8. Katie Shanahan back again, lane 7 for her Stirling University. Maria Godden from Swim Ireland. Lucy Hope, we've not talked about her tonight, just swimming this one. 200 freestyle, very strong 200 freestyler. And Abby Wood, also right up there in the 200 freestyle stakes, going for Loughborough. And Medi Harris from Swansea, because strong backstroker, strong freestyler. Martine Damborg of Denmark, Evie Davis of Stirling University, and Christine Nielsen-Norby from Denmark. Well, this is a good field, isn't it? We've got 3 of the top 4 from Britain in this one. Abby Wood, Lucy Hope, Medi Harris.
Yeah, all members of the World Champs team this year. And I expect them to feature in the 4x200, although it's not completely set in stone yet.
Are there any of the others could mount a surprise? Evie or Katie? I saw she was swimming well earlier.
Potentially, I mean, 2:05 was a bit of a cruise this morning, I think. She's done a 2:01 in the past, so it depends if she's recovered from that 400 a little bit. The other girls are really a bit fresher, I think. I'm expecting a battle between a good battle between Abby and Lucy, to be honest.
So a very good swim from Abby yesterday in the 200 individual medley. So she'll be looking to take that very strong across the strokes. Strong freestyler, as we know, strong breaststroker. Takes that into the medley very nicely. So away they go. So 2:00 for Abby Wood. She was just 500ths away from Lucy Hope's meet record this morning. So this could be another meet record to go. Lucy Hope will certainly be wanting to show what she can do here in lane 5. And the two of them, Abby and Lucy, absolutely together there. Abby just getting the touch. 27.95.
That's pretty impressive, 27.9 on the first 50 split. That's a quick time for a 200.
Seemed to get a bit of a jump on Lucy through that turn as well.
Yeah, I mean, Abby's known for her really good underwater kicking and skill off the wall. That's one of her real strengths.
Lucy doing her best to close that down again as they come up to the halfway turn. Maddie Harris in lane 3, not too far away from them, but still Abby and Lucy, 58.1, 58.6.
I think Lucy will try and push on here. She did this one and she's put in a strong third 50, so she's going to have a go here.
So we see them coming away from the camera, and you can see there's still Abby with the advantage. Maddie Harris is still in the frame, and behind them, lane 7 is Katie Shanahan in 4th place, but well, it looks like it's between Abby and Lucy as they come down the final turn then. Couple of tenths between them. Certainly faster than they were in the heats by a second or so for Abby. We know that Lucy can finish fast. Can she do enough to get alongside? Look at Maddie Harris come up. She is right back in the mix here. So coming down into the final few meters, it is Abby, but beside them, the three of them all coming in together. Oh, what a swim that was. 1:59.06. Another meet record goes. Abby Wood really had to work her socks off for that in the end. So cracking way to finish off that race. Whoa, Maddie Harris was really coming at them like a storm there down there, but another meet record goes. Abby Wood has it. Lucy also inside the old meet record time, so was Maddie. Cracking swims from the three of them, all under the 2 minutes, with Katie Shanahan in 4th in a 2:02. Well, what do you think about that, Ian?
Yeah, that was I was really not super surprised at Maddie because she's a good 200 freestyle, but I didn't think she'd get quite as close to Abby and Lucy as she did. And it was a great race. Both Abby and Maddie were also part of that altitude training camp that came back, so hopefully they're feeling the benefits of that. I think they'll be pleased that they had a good race, and Abby will be pleased that she executed the race well. She took it on strong, but she also was able to hold off at the end there when she was threatened and challenged by the others.
Yeah, she must have felt them all around her there at the end.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
That's one of her strengths as a racer. She's good at fighting to the death.
Stay calm under pressure.
Yeah.
So we've got a bit of a difference here because we've got a split junior final here for the men's 50 backstroke. We've actually got 11 swimmers going all together, so we're going 4 and 7. And here is the foursome. And they are Magnus Morris of Ren 96, Connor Christophorus of Aberdeen Dolphin, and 2 Warrender swimmers, Ishmael Shalabi in lane 5, Mano Drysdale in lane 6. So these swimmers all around the 30 point. And then we'll see how the swimmers go, the 7 that are to come after them. So down they come. Looks a good start from Mano Drysdale, and also, well, maybe just with the edge is Connor Christophorus. Difficult to tell the angles here of the camera, and it is going to be close between Mano and Connor. Who gets the touch? It's Mano. 29.76, so inside his heat time by 4 tenths. Connor second, Magnus Morris in third. So then we've got the 7 will be coming up now. So they'll get combined with those 4 to sort out the rankings in the junior final. Jack Simpson of East Kilbride in 1, Cedar Gullen of Warrender in 2, Nikolai Cisnet of City of Glasgow in 3, Jack Doherty Simpson of Scotia in 4, Benji Jeffries of South Ayrshire in 5, Jensen Norris of Perth in 6, Richard Laws of Cooper in 7, and Scott Fleming of East Kilbride in lane 8. So these swimmers were all faster in the heats than the 4 that we've seen. The fastest was Jack Doherty Simpson. He was the only one to go under 29. See if he can do that, see if others can join him.
Yeah, a little bit of mix-up with the results. I think this afternoon the processing of the results, it should be just one heat of 10, but we ended up missing a couple of swimmers out, and then they decided to not knock them back out after they'd published the heat line and then combine it over 2. So this is the 7, and I think they'll join these 7 with the 4 from previously to make a 1 junior final result.
Yeah, so right thing to do there, not to deny anyone the swimmer having been promised one, but it's this tight in the centre lanes. Jack Doherty Simpson in the green cap, beside him Benji Jeffries, South Ayrshire in the blue, and also in the red cap there, Perth Jensen Norris. And Jack just getting it, 28.90. He'd had to nail his finish there to get that, because Jensen was right on the case. 29.11 for him. But well, when you combine that with the previous heat, so the top 3 will be those 3, Jack, Benji, and the youngster Nikolai, improving on his time from the heats to take 3rd there. Now we have the B final. Mads Muller for Denmark in 0, Adam Ritchie, Stirling University in 1, Logan van der Merlen, Stirling Swim in 2, Josh Press, Stirling University in 3, Brandon Biss of Swim Ireland in 4, Jordan McPhail of Edinburgh University in 5, Brighton Burns, Swim Ireland in 6, Greer van der Merlen, Stirling Swim in 7, para swimmer Louis Lawler goes for City of Glasgow in lane 8, S14 swimmer, and Callum Peebles, East Lothian in lane 9. So the fastest here was Brandon Biss, 27.5 in the heats. 27.19 his entry time, bronze medalist at the Irish Championships. So he's one of those green caps there. The Irish one, the one further away. Brandon. So let's see if they're making full advantage of the 50 metres they're allowed, and pretty much they did. Josh Press, good off the blocks, but coming up strongly now in lane 5 is Jordan McPhail, 20-year-old from Edinburgh University, but this is anyone's race pretty much as we come down the pool. Lane 1 going well, Adam Ritchie. It's going to be all on the touch here. Let's see who gets it. Oh, Jordan McPhail. Looked like a bit of a glide in from him, but he got the win.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. It was close throughout, and you couldn't quite tell until the end who was going to get it. Josh Press was going well. McPhail's just probably, as you say, done the better finish there, even though it looked like it was a little bit of a glide. He obviously spotted it on the end of a fast glide, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
There's a fine balance here. If you want to glide a bit, but then if you just glide too far, you decelerate too
down,
much.
Yeah.
You just want to spot it just right.
So the 8 finalists, and Conor Massey, Dean Fern, University of Aberdeen, Aberdeen Dolphin. Lane 7, John Short, the Swim Ireland, thumbs up for him. Lane 6, Jamie Ferguson, University of Aberdeen Performance. In lane 5, it's Zach Speakman from University of Stirling. In lane 4, Edinburgh University's Scott Gibson. In lane 3, from Denmark, Robert Pedersen. In lane 2, Sam Pease, Stirling University. In lane 1, Jamie Robertson, Stirling University. And lane 0, Brogan Hyde, also from Stirling University. Scott Gibson was the fastest earlier on, time of 25.85. Meet record here, 25.53, held by Conor Ferguson, who's not here this weekend.
It's a good field this, though, with a lot of... there's a Scottish record holder in it, the former Scottish record holder. some up-and-coming fast swimmers in Jamie Ferguson, Dean Fern, the top Irish swimmer John Short. It's a good one.
Yep, so we'll see how it works out. Jamie Robertson hasn't really emulated that 25.22 Scottish record that he set last summer. Since then, we'll see whether he can get anywhere close to that here. So Scott Gibson would love to get that Scottish record back. He goes in lane 4. And this is going to be fast and furious. It does look like Scott has got the edge coming out from the start. Also going well in lane 3 is Robert Pedersen, the Dane, and lane 2, Sam Pease. But it's going to be, I think, Scott Gibson taking this one. He's up by about a metre or so now. 25.51. Takes the beat record. So good, strong swim from him.
Yeah, it's a good unshaved swim from him. I think we're pretty happy with that. 25.5. His group of swimmers, coached by Matt Trodden at Edinburgh University, obviously going well here this weekend.
Robert Pedersen second, Jamie Ferguson just behind them in third. Think of Jamie mainly as a 200 swimmer, so good speed from him in this short event.
He's been coming on nicely this season. His 200's got better, but also his 50-meter event is coming on nicely as well. So he's still a good prospect for the future, training up in Aberdeen with under Patrick Miley.
So 50 backstroke is our last event of the evening, and again we've got the 3 swims. Junior finalists there for you, just the 8 swimmers in this one. So we had 11 for the boys, 8 for the girls. Madison Christophorus, Aberdeen Dolphin in 1. Iona Henderson goes for Rutherglen in 2. Sarah Kravis of East Lothian in 3. Ida Sohn of Denmark in 4. Heidi Wren, City Glasgow in 5. Bronwyn Payne for best in 6. And 2 City Glasgow swimmers, Ida Dobson in 7. Anna Kachenko in lane 8. So 31 sevens for Ida and Heidi in the heats. They're about 3/10 faster than Zara Kravis, and then another couple of tenths to Bronwyn Payne. So in lane 4, the white cap, Ida. The blue cap with that familiar G, Heidi Wren. In lane 5. So down the length they go. Nice start there from Heidi Wren.
Yeah, she's very good underwater. It's Heidi. It's one of her strong points, and it's whether she can maintain this and hold on.
Well, she's certainly got the advantage with 15 to go. So they're all going to have to play catch up, but they are having a go at it. But it's still Heidi as they come into the final 5, and she's got about half a metre in hand and takes the win in 31 seconds dead. So that is 8/10 just about, faster than she was earlier. She came in on an entry time of 29.7, so might have wanted to have been a bit faster than 31, but she takes the win.
I don't think she's ever been 29.7, so I'm not sure where that time came from. But
okay, maybe an unconverted short course time. But anyway, it was a good win, 31 seconds dead. So she'll know how good that was. So the B final now. In 0, it's Sophie Hirsch of Denmark. In 1, Matilda Sandberg, Tabi Swim. Kira Sterica from South Ayrshire in 2. 2 more Danes, Louise Thisted in 3, and Christine Nielsen Norby in lane 4. Ellis Shields, Edinburgh University in 5, and her teammate Olivia Butler in 6. Marie Wood of University of Aberdeen in 7. Melissa Mainwaring from West Lothian in 8. And a third Dane goes in lane 9, and that is Ida Fredriksson. So 30.5, Christine Nielsen Norby was the fastest in this B final. Came into this meet on a 29.4, so she'll be looking, I would think, to get under the 30 here this evening. See if she can do that, see if any of the others can go with her. Melissa Mainwaring also with a sub 30 entry time. So off they go. Again, we're looking for the breakouts on the start. Popping up first in lane 3, Louise Thursted. But, well, there's others right up there.
Very close across 5 or 6 of them, I think.
Yeah, difficult to call this one.
Lane 1 going particularly well.
That's Matilda Sandberg. And it does look like she has just got the edge, but she's coming under pressure. Ooh, Melissa gets it. 30-25 just popping up there. So again, maybe disappointing perhaps not to just break through the 30 barrier, but Melissa Mainwaring takes the win from Christine Nilsson-Norby.
Certainly a nice improvement from a heats with 31.0 in the heats, dropping to 30.2. I think, is that her best time for Melissa? It's very close, if not.
Well, again, according to our entry time, it says 29.5, but again, might be a similar story what we saw with Heidi.
Yeah.
So here we go, last race of the day. Amy Shields goes into lane 9 for City Glasgow. There's Rika Kanstrup for Denmark going to lane 8. Emily Grant, University of Aberdeen in 7. 6 is Emma Crow of Denmark. Lane 5, Kathleen Dawson, Stirling University. And lane 4, Medi Harris back from that 200 freestyle. From Swansea University in lane 4. Maria Goddens from Ireland in 3. 2 is Florence Tinsley of Stirling University. Lane 1, Yasmin Hammerlane from Edinburgh University. And Grace Davison of Swim Ireland makes her way to lane 0. So this could be a good one to finish on, Medi and Kathleen. We'll see what sort of form Kathleen's able to show. Medi, we know, is in good form, but she had that 200 freestyle. So
only about 10 minutes ago as well, so
yeah.
It's not too bad going into a 50 when you know you've only got one length to do. You can sometimes bash that out if she's had a quick recovery, maybe got a little drink downer and a few easy lengths in the swim down pool. But Kathleen was pretty good this morning, 28.4 I think, was it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and she's usually good at dropping a little bit in the final. She has been at 27, of course, but you know she's maybe not quite in that form right now. But she'll be aiming for it.
Yeah, both Medi and Kathleen on 28.4s. 28.41 for Medi, 28.46 for Kathleen. So expect this to be very, very tight indeed. Maybe a bit depends on what that 200 freestyle did to Medi. They were 2nd and 4th respectively in the British Championships, and you can see there it does look like Kathleen just edging it early on here, but Medi right there with her in lanes 5 and 4. And it certainly looks like it's between these two, and Medi perhaps just moving through as they come up to the final 5. Oh, it's stroke for stroke now. They are side by side. Kathleen finishing strongly and takes the win. 28.38. 12 hundredths clear of Medi Harris. I think she'll be pleased with that. Right on her entry time.
Yeah, good swims from both. Great race. And strong times for 50-metre backstroke. I know when they're at their best they're going to go 27s, but Medi, as we know, we just had that 200, and Kathleen's kind of still building back up from period of injury, so I think she'll be quite pleased with that swim.
Yep, and that is a great way to finish off day 2. As we see there, the athletes just getting themselves, they'll get a chance to swim down in the competition pool in the next 20 minutes or so, but we are done for day 2. Ian, it's been a pleasure, as always, to have you in the commentary box with me.
Thanks very much.
And we look forward to seeing you back for day 3, our final day of competition here in Tollcross. We'll be getting underway at 9 o'clock. The swimming will start 5 minutes after that. It should be a good third day. We've had 2 absolutely cracking days. The meet records have taken a hammering for the last 2 days. So we look forward to having your company again tomorrow. But for now, we'll wish you from Tollcross a very good evening.